It's Operation Babble with Myke Shrews. It's pop culture, music, movies, TV too. It's time to explore life. It's Operation Babble time. The brave and the stupid are back.
The what and the what and the what?
I don't know, dude. You put me on the spot.
Welcome back to Operation Babble, everybody. I am Myke Shrews, and with me, always, is Tivis. Sometimes. Most of the time, man. I think I've done more without John than without you by now, since you've joined us. So John is out on vacation today, and as far as the last, 3-4 weeks? Have we been gone for 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah,
3,
mostly my fault.
3 weeks, then yeah. All right. So with that said, I was sick and then everyone else was out doing other stuff anyways. So
I left town twice.
Yeah.
In a row.
Yeah. So but we decided to jump on here and we are going today to talk about the Suicide Squad from James Gunn. And maybe we'll talk about some other stuff as we progress through the show. So with that said, Tivis, how you been for the last few weeks?
Yeah, can't really complain. I got a ton of stuff I watched, but
oh yeah, you know. I watched a lot of stuff. I was sick for a little bit, and then I got like a ton of stuff watched during that period of time. So, and then
a couple
trying to catch up on everything else has been a pain in the butt.
I got the flu a couple years back. It was only 3 days, but I watched like all of Clone Wars, caught up on like 2 seasons of Walking Dead, the first seasons of Fear.
Yeah. So I watched the entire 4 seasons of Matt LeBlanc's Man with a Plan TV show, only to find out, the 4th season was the last season. They just canceled it without giving it a send off and stuff. I was really into that show, and apparently there is a petition already for like Netflix to pick it up and continue it with season 5. So which Netflix is known to do. I'm not sure how well they do sitcoms though, because it is a straight up sitcom-esque type show. So,
would you say Arrested Development was a sitcom?
See, I don't count like the shaky cam or hand cam shows more as sitcoms. I know they are like Arrested Development. People consider that. Modern Family, people consider a sitcom.
The Office,
and Parks and Rec, like people consider those things sitcoms. I don't necessarily put them into the sitcom realm myself. When I think sitcom, I'm thinking 3 walls, and then your 4th wall is right where the camera's at, and we know exactly the pacing and where everybody's gonna be at all times because there's only 3 spots you can sit on the set or something. You're never going to, and Everybody Loves Raymond, you're never sitting on the one side of the table because that's where the fucking camera is, even though it's a giant ass table. Everyone's squished together on one side.
Oh, yeah.
That's my idea of a true sitcom. So like, as far as like the reality based like shaky cam type shit, docu-series stuff.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
For me, I don't consider it sitcom necessarily, even though it has some elements of it in there. So, yeah. I watched that, and it's actually a pretty fun show. It has Matt LeBlanc is the main star, of course. It has Kevin Nealon on it? Is that his name?
You're asking me.
And Stacy Keach shows up in there, which if anybody ever watched Titus, he was the dad from Titus. I'm just going to say that one because he's been in so many different things, like Escape from New York. And yeah, I'm just not even going to go into how much shit he's been in. So yeah, that was my show for the time. I watched all 4 seasons in a week, probably. I think I got through those in a week. And along with some Rick and Morty, I watched 4 seasons of Rick and Morty over the course of not being on here. And then
season 5 is wrapping up here in a couple weeks.
I heard that. So my son's trying to like get me to watch it with him on the TV, like through our cable provider. We can go back and watch it and shit. But I'm like, I'm just going to wait until it's all out on HBO Max and just watch it that way. So yeah, it was, it's been fun doing that. I watched Batman and Robin and Batman Forever because I had nothing else to do.
With the Kevin Smith commentary?
No. That's the Batman and Robin, or that's just Batman 60s TV show. He's doing the commentary with Ralph Garman on that.
I thought they also did all the movies back when it was Fat Man on Batman.
Oh, with that? I'm not sure. I did not listen to that show way back then. I know him and Ralph Garman are doing it on Hollywood Babylon, so that they can do a show still, because they didn't feel comfortable doing their normal show without a live audience. So see how well that works. I listened to a few of them, but then I was like, I'm not even watching it. This doesn't make sense. I need to see something too. So I'll be doing that. I just picked up the Batman 60s show to watch and go through with them too. So
hopefully that petition gets someone's interest. I know I was sad when the one for Last Man on Earth didn't work with Hulu, which sucks because, you know, Fox had a large portion of that at the time. And now that Disney owns both, they still not bringing it back for resolving that final cliffhanger.
I never watched that. That was the comedy one, like the straight up comedy. And then they found out there were, spoilers, other men on Earth. It wasn't just him. So
yeah, I'm real glad I got into that show in season 2, because that first season is depressing as shit.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of a Last Man on Earth, you sent me a trailer for a comic book show that they're dropping.
Oh yeah, Why the Last Man?
Why the Last Man? So that trailer looks awesome. I can see the potential of it pissing certain people off because of the way people are right now.
Which is hilarious considering it's almost 20 years old.
Yeah, you said it came out in 2002, I think it was.
Yeah, it's a Vertigo, which is an offshoot of DC.
Okay.
It's where they put stuff they don't want in their superhero.
Yeah.
And sometimes also stuff they want in their superhero, like Constantine and Swamp or Man Thing and stuff. Yeah.
Swamp Thing started out there, and then he moved over to DC.
Yeah, same with Constantine.
Yeah. It's like the characters, they're like, oh, well, these can actually work in our DC universe. We'll do that. But like Sandman's still not. Yeah,
Sandman's out there. He is connected, actually.
Is he?
That's when they got stopped making the Justice Society. They had a little cameo in a Sandman comic trapped in a small hourglass world or something like that.
Okay.
So
yeah. But the Why the Last Man looks awesome. If you guys haven't seen the trailer, I definitely recommend checking it out. I watched it probably 5 times after you sent it to me, like in a row, because I was like, I need to grasp what is going on here. And then I was like, this is a cool idea. But then I was like, well, how many people is this going to piss off? And then I hit you up, and then you were like, well, it's based on the comic, because I didn't know it was based on a comic at all. And I was like, that makes it cooler.
It's highly acclaimed. Like, if you get the chance to read this, it's definitely on a must-read list for everyone.
Well, my must-read list now includes Lick It Man that you shared with me, and I just need to read that whole thing. Like, are they going to make more? That was an
ad for me on Facebook this morning. I'm like, I got to share this.
Well, now we know what type of stuff you're looking up.
It's a Comixology ad, but yeah, sure.
So what the heck? Come on, Comixology. Oh, I gotta sign up for it to open in there. So this Lick It Man, I'm just gonna read this real quick. After a radioactive lollipop turns Beaver Sparker into Lick It Man, women all across the globe are empowered with enlightened orgasms, and men have the perfect role model. I'm just gonna stop there because the rest of it goes into author Camille Carida. This is why I didn't want to say her name because I can't pronounce it. Creates a hilarious,
welcome to my world.
Smart and sexy, laugh out loud, full color, 65-page graphic novel, beautifully illustrated by Marvel and DC Comics artist Joe Quinones. I think that's his name. This award-winning ebook is a playful and twisted comedic take on the superhero genre, combining body, sexuality, tongue-in-cheek humor, and tinges of political satire. In other words, half the planet's going to hate it. And the other half of the planet's going to bitch about like how grotesque it is. So
I mean, DC pretty much set themselves up to have this thing get made. So
oh yeah. Yeah. So it's because the guy's costume does look like Batman. He just has, at least from the image I'm looking at here, where Batman's ears would be are up a skirt, so you can't necessarily see that. So we'll see. I'm kind of curious what his whole costume looks like from the front, or if we're just going to see the back of his shoulders the whole time. So yeah, that's on my reading list now, Tivis. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
As far as everything else goes, we were gonna do a thing with. Well, we'll save that. We'll save that for John still. Trying to think of what else I watched that. Oh, I watched the Fear Street movies, the 3 Fear Street films.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
All released out. I watched those. Those are based on R.L. Stine's Fear Street books. For people who don't know, I recommend watching these.
I didn't at first.
There's a few people, I should say, who do not like these. They're like their reviews or their comments towards these movies is like, it's childish, it's this, it's that. I'm like, they're based off of preteen books. Like Fear Street was a preteen book. I mean, yeah, there are some spots in it that are kind of gory. So the movies kind of are like, well, where are these supposed to hit? They're not really for adults because we can figure out what's going on after a certain point with a lot of stuff. But then they're not also for kids, even though I let my oldest kid watch them. They're not necessarily for all kids of that age group.
I kind of got the similar vibes to Real Scary Stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Except these are gory. Pretty gory. I would put this more along the lines of Tales from the Crypt. It's like, all right, except Tales from the Crypt was more adult too in their storyline. I guess like the story isn't childish. It's not a childish story. It's just predictive at a certain point. You know, you can see where some stuff is going or like what's happening, but it is kind of like an homage series, and it feels like it was going to be like a mini series possibly. And they were like, well, let's do it as 3 movies. And they broke it into how they did it, which is pretty cool because I would prefer it as the 3 movies than a show, you know, where it ends every half an hour. And then I'm like, well, fuck you. But yeah, I recommend watching it. There's a lot of, well, not a lot, but there's several naysayers out there that are talking crap about it. I'm like, well, you're also, when they were commenting too, I noticed the dates. It was like right after each individual movie. I'm like, you don't have the whole story yet, so you can't really, because it was made to be a whole story coming out all at once. I think they dropped them once a week for 3 weeks. Back to back to back. So
should have waited till October, but
yeah, that's what I told Nick. I was like, why didn't they wait till October and lead up to Halloween? And then for the Halloween week, they could have dropped a really big, like, scary movie or something there. or the kids version of it, like Goosebumps.
They didn't even wait till October to drop the fucking Stranger Things teaser.
The new one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they dropped one for season 4 and gave it a release window of 2022.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm waiting for them to give me something, anything for what is it? Warrior Nun, I think is what it was called. Warrior Nun.
Yeah. Warrior Nun.
Because they left that on a big cliffhanger, and they said that they were doing a second season. So I'm like, gimme, please, because I want to see what happens. We've been watching a lot of stuff like Warrior Nun and shit like that. We watched, or even what was the one we watched? Milkshake something or another with Gamora. No, not Gamora. With Gunpowder Milkshake, I think is what it's called, actually.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it. Let me double check. It's on Netflix. Yeah, Gunpowder Milkshake with Karen Gillan, and Lena Headey. Dude, there's just a bunch of great actresses in this movie.
There was an update for Warrior Nun season 2 a couple weeks back on the 26th.
Is there?
Yeah, Simon
Okay.
Barry says that they have begun shooting.
Oh, nice. Perfect. They should have had it shot already with the way they ended it. I'm just saying. I don't know if you watched the show or not, but it was.
I got a bit into it, but I haven't finished it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Paul Giamatti is also in Gunpowder Milkshake as well, and as I just recently found out, he is part of the Skull and Bones Society. So.
He's also in Jungle Cruise, which is a movie I watched, and
He'll be president next year.
Yeah. If you like The Mummy, I definitely suggest watching Jungle Cruise. Like, I got the same exact vibes.
From like the
Brendan Fraser version.
Okay, I was gonna say the Tom Cruise one.
No. Don't waste your time on that piece of shit.
I don't even think the studio's wasting their time.
And I do
on
mean
it.
the movie this time.
Damn. All right. I think that's pretty much caught up. I'm sure I watched a bunch more shit, but I don't remember it all anymore. If I don't remember, it wasn't noteworthy, I guess. Man with a Plan and Fear Street were probably the top ones that I enjoyed the most. Rick and Morty, for me being a multiverse person, it was okay. It wasn't like mind blowing like a lot of people say it is.
Yeah. I know a lot of people say they're better when you binge them, but I think they're better off as once in a while cartoon. Like,
yeah. I was taking
for me,
breaks.
South Park is the pinnacle of adult animation, especially lately, because they've been killing it.
We'll see. I think there's a few, I guess, as of right now, maybe for you. I don't really know what is my top tier one for like adult animation like that. Cause like, yeah, I don't know. I started thinking of shows and I'm like, well, that's not necessarily for adults. Like, I loved Uncle Grandpa. I don't know if anyone ever watched that, but I fucking loved it because just visually it looked like you were on an acid trip the entire time.
I only saw one episode, and it was the one at the award show where they brought back a bunch of old Cartoon Network characters.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about that show, I want that to show. I think it might actually be on HBO Max in their Cartoon Network section.
I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah, I'll check that
with
out
how
later.
popular that and Gumball and what was that other one with the bird dude?
Birdman, 2020 or whatever.
No, it was a cartoon. It was like the regular show or something like that.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't watch a lot of the cartoons on Cartoon Network like when we were growing up. I just recently started doing them because I didn't have cable. I was broke, people. Fuck.
Dude, all of Ed and Eddie, still the best cartoon I've ever watched.
Yep. They're supposed to be doing the live action to that, aren't they?
No, that was a
rumor.
Yeah, well,
Fake news?
not even rumor. It was like a joke.
Fake news. Knew it.
Somebody just trying to rile up the fans.
News.
I wouldn't be opposed to it though.
Yeah,
as long as the creator came back.
But who would they cast? Let's not even go down that road right now.
I don't know enough kid actors.
They would cast adults and just de-age them. Yeah. I could see that, like Channing Tatum.
Shit, dude. We went down a hole this weekend of Japanese commercials, and there was one where it's literally just was one guy, and it was he was like he had a bunch of kids, and they were playing a baseball out in the front yard, but it's literally just him and his face superimposed over all the kids. It was weird as fuck.
Didn't they just do that with Fake Doctors, the podcast?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Their promo photo this week.
Promo photo this week. Yeah. They just did that with them, where it's like JD's face is on a couple of them, and then Donald. Yeah. I never remember JD's real name, like the actor's real name. Zach Braff. That's what it is. Okay. Sorry, Zach. Yeah. Damn it. I'm all like confused now with what we're going to talk about. Because I just went down this rabbit hole of shit.
James Gunn's
Suicide Squad, to be different from Suicide Squad in 2016.
If they make another one, what word do they add to that? Or did they just copy a word this time?
It's just going to be a Suicide Squad. Or just Suicide Squad 3. I don't know. You think DC will try and get a trilogy out of this? Well, at least with Margot Robbie, I'm sure.
Who the fuck knows anymore with them? You can't predict what they're gonna do.
I think they're just having fun. At a certain point, you just gotta be like, they're just having fun. Fuck it. Which I'm like not opposed to, because I'm like, we already have too big of a universe being built with Marvel, which I'm perfectly okay with, because that's what they set out to do. DC didn't set out to do that ever necessarily. Well, I don't think that was a setup. They weren't thinking about it when they did Man of Steel. You know, that was all just Snyder wanted to fuck around with Batman, and they wouldn't give him a Batman film. So he's like, well, I'm going to write Batman into the next one. And then they're like, well, we're going to do a Wonder Woman, so let's write her into it too last minute, where it makes no fucking sense. And she should have won. Did
you hear his recent interview with that? He said, I don't know if it was him or someone else. It might have been Jeff Johns for all I know. They were talking about the diminishing returns and how sequels hardly ever make as much. So they're like, well, instead of doing a sequel, let's just throw in Batman and make an entire new film. Yeah.
That's all they were doing. They was just like, well, let's add on another character here. And then you get to did Aquaman come out before or after Justice League? After. So yeah, it was just like, here, let's throw all these guys in, then we'll give them each spin-offs, where it's like where Marvel was like solo, boom, and then they worked their way into it. But even Marvel had some rushed shit. Like the first Captain America movie felt really rushed at certain points. So I'm not saying it was a bad movie, but I'm just saying that it feels rushed if you go back and watch it. I know a lot
of people feel that way about Iron Man 2, but I'm a War Machine fan, so that's going to be in my top 5 forever. So
I don't get that dude. I don't understand the hate on some of these like Marvel, like Iron Man 2 gets hate, Thor 2 gets hate. There's some people that don't even like Thor 1. They think it's a piece of shit. I'm like, are you guys not watching these movies? Or like, where are you? The first Thor movie was a fucking play, basically.
Do you hate love stories that take place over a weekend?
It happens, man. It happens.
Speaking of DC, though, did you hear their, that producer. I think it was Jeff Johns, but their names blend together after a while. One of their executive producers on everything. He wrote like Green Lantern. At least I think it was Green Lantern. Might have been the Batman trilogy. I'm having trouble with my memory. It was a couple weeks ago now. But he's talking about why Marvel is killing it over DC, and he's like, well, it's because they have continuity and we don't. Like, yeah.
Well, they've
you
also
don't have a central voice. You need your own Feige.
Yeah. But the thing is, too, Feige has been with Marvel for like almost ever since they've started doing like he was with them when they did their 90s run of fucking Marvel movies with Blade and the X-Men and all that shit. Catwoman, for Pete's sake. Like, or no, not Catwoman. That was DC. Nice Starro. What was it? The Daredevil and Elektra and shit like that. Like, Feige's name is on all of those. It may not be like the top guy, but he's been with them. So he's like been watching like what works, what doesn't work and shit like that. And then he's like, well, let's build a fucking universe. The comics do it. Why not? With DC, it seems they have some issues doing so. Of course, they need one voice, which a lot of people still
it's the same problem Star Wars has right now.
Yeah. But a lot of people think that Snyder was that voice because he was like, I don't get that, because I wouldn't want Snyder to do every fucking thing, you know, for DC. No. There's a couple characters that'd be kind of cool to see him fuck with, but like not some, like Superman should not have been a Snyder movie. Your cat just jumped on your back, huh?
Yep.
All I see was a tail.
I got a nice claw on my back.
But yeah, with DC though, where we saw the Suicide Squad in 2016 by David Ayer, which he's saying isn't his fucking movie now. So released the Ayer cut, I guess.
Which we kind of knew for a while.
Yeah. Because that was edited by like a trailer house too, which you shouldn't do that for a full movie. But anyways, so that came out, and then what is it? Birds of Prey is a sequelish, is after your cat's like all up in your shit. Birds of Prey was the sequel to Suicide Squad for Harley Quinn anyways. Because she mentions the events in that movie, so you know it. And then this movie comes, you said it's like 5 years after the Harley Quinn movie?
Yeah, about 5. Goddamn cat.
Cat's moving everything on him.
Yeah, because Suicide Squad was 2016, and they said this movie takes place in 21. So yeah.
So that's 5 years after Suicide Squad, then, not Birds of Prey.
She almost.
We don't know how
Birds of Prey takes place immediately after Suicide Squad.
Does it though?
No.
Like, why would he help break her out if he was just going to break up with her? I don't think it takes place immediately after Suicide Squad.
This is according to DC.
Well, DC's stupid and doesn't pay attention, because they also show a wanted sign for Captain Boomerang in the police station. I'm like, dude's already in jail.
Maybe they just didn't take it down.
Especially if that is right after Suicide Squad. We know he's still in jail. Like, unless the Joker broke all of them out, which I doubt it, because he doesn't do that. Yeah, so moving on to now James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie in 2021, which takes place in 2021.
I want to point out that before she left, she tried to take my Starro figure.
The cat?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so do you want to start off with the Suicide Squad movie by James Gunn?
Shit,
Director of Guardians of the Galaxy, as everything fucking says for it.
And Super and Slither.
Super was a good movie. I like that.
I enjoy that too.
Did he direct Bright House? Or not Bright House, Brightburn? Sorry. The evil Superman movie. basically? I don't remember if he directed it, but I know he worked on it.
He wrote it.
He wrote it. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, because Michael Rooker shows up in there.
He produced it. It was written by Brian and Mark Gunn.
Okay. David Yarovesky is the director. Got it. That's a good one. If you haven't watched that one, I would suggest watching that. If you like a little darker stuff, and not like Snyder dark, but like dark shit. So
yeah, this film opens up with Jesus. You get introduced to the Task Force X. Rick Flag's team. They bring on Savannah. I think is his name. Savant. Savant. Which I recognized as Michael Rooker immediately, but my wife did not because
the hair
weird like that.
How could you not recognize him?
That's what I said. I'm like, that's Yondu. She's like, no, I don't think so.
Like, you could tell who he is in everything. But my wife is the same way. Like, she was like, who is he? He looks familiar. I was like, it's Yondu. So, oh yeah, okay. that's how I had to get it, because she doesn't know actors' names that well. So I was just like, it's Yondu.
The same thing happened with Stranger Things, because they had oh my god, Gary shit. He was on Impractical Jokers. He goes rogue and throws the cup in Sal's face.
Oh, Gary Busey.
Gary Busey, thank you. Yeah. I had his name and then I forgot his last name.
Yeah.
Like seconds. His son is on that show, and I'm like, he looks just like Gary Busey. She's like, no, he don't. Yeah. So I looked it up. It's his son. And I'm like, yes, it does. This is every time.
It's oh, what is his son's name? That one. I know who you're talking about because he's in Frighteners, which is like one of my favorite movies. Jake Busey.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it the kid?
No, I think it's Jake.
Okay.
It's whichever one was living in their car for a while.
He was an adult, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Jake Busey. And he's freaking awesome. He was in Starship Troopers and shit like that. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Shit. I need to rewatch those.
But I love Jake Busey. He's got this swagger to him. He kind of reminds me of the guy from Deadpool that they were like trying to cancel. TJ Miller. They kind of remind me of each other a little bit.
He dies in Transformers in a dumb way.
Yeah. Yeah. A stupid way. But he deserved it. He called on them. That's how they try and justify it. I'm like, wait, what? But yeah, TJ Miller and Jake Busey kind of remind me of each other. Anyways, moving on with the Suicide Squad. Yeah, we open up with Savant. Like, you don't open up with anyone else. You just open up with him in his cell, bro. And he kills a fucking bird, like, instantly. I'm like, okay, I don't give a shit about this guy, because, like...
This movie hates birds.
It truly does. I said that to
Gunn
Nick.
has a bird phobia or something.
I said that to Nick. I was like, I think Gunn hates birds. Because of what they do later. But yeah, we open up with Savant, and then they do the whole they jump through the Suicide Squad, like explaining what the fuck Task Force.
Yeah, a quick
X
summary
is.
of the first film.
Yeah, a very quick summary. You
put
get
a bomb
the deal.
in your head, you go on a mission, you get 10 years off your sentence.
Yeah. Which if you're in there for forever, it doesn't fucking matter. Then you're just out having fun. Yeah, so then they introduce the whole team. You got what was it, Weasel with this team, the first team. TDK, which is Mongal. Nathan Fillion is TDK.
Yeah. And I don't think TDK actually exists in the comics. In the comics, he's called Arm Fall Off Boy.
Is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure.
The detachable kid?
There might be two people with the same name, same power, because, comics, and they rip off each other all the time.
Yeah. I know in the comics he doesn't necessarily have the power they show in
Yep. No,
movie.
here it is. Arm fall off boy, later known as Splitter.
Okay.
Yeah. So his power is just take off his arm and beat you with it. But they give it a little extra in this one, which was fun to watch.
It was weird. I was like, wait, what?
Mungal, Javelin, who will be somewhat important.
Mm-hmm.
Savant.
Who plays Javelin? Who was that? Flula
That
Borg.
was Flula Borg.
I didn't recognize him. Oh, Pitch Perfect. That's what it was.
Then we got Blackguard by that insufferable dude from SNL, Pete Davidson.
Oh, fucking hell.
And you already said Weasel.
And then returning, we have Captain Boomerang, which is played by Jai Courtney. He's the only one that returns to the cast besides
Harley Quinn and Rick Flag.
Yeah. Which Joel Kinnaman is fucking awesome. I love him. And Harley Quinn is Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
She
gets arrested for allegedly something stupid.
Fucking hell. Like she's the last one to get into the copter, and Boomerang's like, oh, Harley, how'd you get it back in jail or whatever in this fucking weird accent? What is he, Australian? He's supposed to be Australian?
Yeah, Captain Boomerang, he's Australian.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't do an Australian accent. And then she's like, oh, I got arrested for driving crazy or some bullshit. I'm like, wow, that's what took down Harley Quinn, right? She didn't just beat the fuck out of the cops and walk away. As we've seen in Birds of Prey, like she doesn't give two shits if the cops are chasing her. She literally breaks into the cops precinct in Birds of Prey. Like, how did they arrest her like that? At least before it was Batman who arrested her ass for the first Suicide Squad movie.
No word on what happened to the kid after Birds of Prey, but 5 years, maybe she went on to do her own crimes.
Well, she was, what was her name? Because everybody was pissed off. She was, oh, fucking hell. Anyways, keep going. I'm going to remember this.
Yeah, so they get on the copter to go do an incredibly hard mission. They're talking about, we get the James Gunn, what James Gunn is good at. The banter, the dialogue in this movie is great. I've always think that's his strongest attribute when writing.
Yeah.
Cassandra probably Cain, why I love the Scooby-Doo so much. What was that?
Cassandra Cain was the girl's name. So she's the one who she ends up being like Batgirl eventually, right?
Oh yeah. No,
she's Batgirl. The fourth Batgirl, it says here. Apparently,
she gets another alias later on. I forget what it is though.
Black Bat, Kasumi,
yes, that's it,
and something else. So I mean, 5 years from then, how old was she supposed to be there? Like 15, so she'd probably be 20 now.
Yeah, so maybe she's been taken in by Bruce. Who knows?
Maybe she's the Batgirl in the Batgirl movie. That's not going to happen.
No, because that girl's not Asian.
Well, geez, be racist much, Tivis.
I'm just saying there's some inconsistencies.
I don't know who they have playing Batgirl actually in the Batgirl movie. I didn't know it was already cast.
Yeah, I could look it up real quick, but yeah, they're on the copter. You get some cool banter. They try to figure out what the fuck Weasel is. Pete Davidson thinks he's a werewolf and freaks the fuck out because he's next to him.
Which they put all that in the trailer too.
Yeah, I didn't watch many of the trailers because, I mean, they practically showed, if anyone who watched all the trailers, you've already seen the entire film.
They put all the good jokes in the trailers. Yeah.
Leslie Grace.
Okay. Is Batwoman or Batgirl. I don't know what she looks like. Let's see.
Ed, we find out that Weasel may not have volunteered for this.
Yeah. And then it's the stupidest thing because, like, we all know Weasel is played by the other Gunn, Sean Gunn.
Yeah, Sean Gunn.
So, like, Flag is like, well, he's not danger. And then he's like, well, besides the fact that he, like, killed 27 kids. Or 27 kids. I was like, wait, he's just a child killer. Basically, he's like fucking Freddy, except he's a weasel. Like, what is going on? Like, and we're just letting him run around, and yeah, I was like, what the fuck is he gonna do? He's killed kids. These people have guns. They don't really show any of his powers, you know. They don't show what he can do or anything like that. I think
he's just a literal mutated weasel.
Yeah, I think he's like a retarded rocket. If people can't hear, Tivis was laughing. He moved away from his mic.
They get to their objective, which is the beach, and they drop into the water. And again, this is one of those parts where Gunn shines with the dialogue and his writing style. Turns out Weasel doesn't know how to swim, and no one bothered to check on that. And I think that adds a lot of like relatability to the world. Like the fact that Waller and her team fuck something up because they just forgot to check something.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, did they question everybody if they could swim and just not ask him? Because at that point, it's like some people just can't swim.
Well, there's something else they didn't check on later on. We'll get to.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the weasel basically fucking drowns. Savant tries to save him, but
first casualty right off the bat.
Yeah,
within less than 10 minutes.
And then they all just basically try and storm the beach. Dickhead, Blondie, what's his name in the
Pete Davis.
Pete Davis. Yeah, I don't
Blackguard.
remember. Blackguard? Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Blackguard basically, so this got me fucked up, and then I questioned it to Nikki too. He gets up on the beach and just like puts his hands up, and he's like, "Hey, it's me. I'm the one who told you about everything," and like they're yelling at him to get the fuck down. I'm like, is anyone listening to what he's saying? Because Waller should have blown his fucking head off like instantly.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Like,
yeah, he apparently sold the team out to the military of this island.
Yeah.
Who then repay him by blowing his face off.
Yeah, they kill him. But I'm like, wait. Waller should have fucking blew his head off to show the stakes of, hey, you fucked us over. Like, what was his plan? Even if the people like didn't kill him, he was going to get his head fucking blown off. I'm like, that's not a very well thought out plan. You have a bomb in your head, you dumb fuck.
Well, it's like KG Beast from the first one. They just don't, some of them don't take the threat serious.
It's so stupid. Like in the first one, though, like they didn't believe that they were actual. Like Boomerang was like, "Oh, these are fake things just to fuck with our heads and shit." Like I've watched the first one many a time, so I remember that. But in this one, I'm just like, everybody knows that they'll get killed. Like they know it by now.
I mean, if the character is anything like the real Pete, he might just be. I'm being mean on him. I can't help it though. He's annoying.
But yeah, Blackguard, Waller should just blown his head off like instantly. There was no way he should have even been able to keep walking on the beach.
We'll get to that in a second.
Also,
though.
Wait, in the first one, Flag had the ability to blow them up too. He didn't have that ability in this one.
No, and they got smarter with it too. It's not on an iPad where you could accidentally,
push
your
a button.
thumb twitch.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I agree with that, but then I'm like, well, events that happen later in the movie, it would have been beneficial for Flag to be able to boom and blow some people's heads off.
Yeah, but I meant specifically like Waller.
Yeah. She did.
It's not some Samsung.
We'll get into some other shit
tablet.
with her too because of some stuff that happened in the previous movie as well.
Yeah.
But again, I think they were trying to get far away from the previous movie too, with some of the character shit.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
But
So, yeah,
then
go ahead.
Fallout war breaks out between them and this military, and we find out TDK stands for the detachable kid, which his arms can pop off and go and attack people from afar, which, as you can guess, is useless because all of your power comes from your body momentum. So
Which
it's just over there like slapping them and grabbing their faces.
Moving. They show him moving his body. Like he still has to literally move to get the punches and shit in. But I mean,
literally the only people who do anything is Mongal and Boomerang, and everyone else is just fucking useless. And I think
Mongal doesn't even get to do anything. She
grabs a helicopter and brings it down onto a bunch of people.
Yeah, I guess that's...
including Boomerang.
Yeah, that was sad for me because
catches fire.
Because they show like a small little relationship between him and Harley at first, and he got a better looking suit, man. He actually got a better suit. And
but hey, now that he's dead, they set it up for Black Lanterns in the future because he is a Black Lantern.
Yeah,
they're never gonna do that, but I can wish. We'll think.
I like Jai Courtney too. Not a lot of people do. So
the Australian YouTuber I follow, Mr. Sunday, was extremely broken up that their national hero is gone in the beginning of the movie.
Wouldn't that be national villain?
Yeah, I forget who it was, whether it was Harley or Savant, but they look at Flag and they're like, this team is useless. I didn't pick the team. So
Savant says that, I think it is.
Freaks out, swims into the water, gets their head blown off. Basically, everyone is dead except for Flag and Harley.
Yeah.
By the end of this, then we get a flashback to the past where we meet Bloodsport and find out this is the real team we're going to be following, and that the other team was a distraction, which means
they weren't necessarily a distraction. I think she just sent two teams just in case one got fucked up. I think that's
she
what it was.
specifically calls them a distraction.
Well,
which is
I think that's
so
because,
fucked up for Flag.
Yeah, it's really fucked up for Flag, especially because he's not even a prisoner. He's the one that's not a prisoner in this whole thing. She
probably was aware of, his what he would do later on in the film, which
yeah, that's true.
But she purposely picked some of the most useless people to be, and this is my theory, she allowed Blackguard to contact this military so that they would all, focus on them.
Ooh, I got an idea. What if she purposefully if she knew Blackguard was already contacting the people?
Mm-hmm.
That's why she doesn't kill him right away. So
that's what I was thinking.
So she purposefully sent them there because of the previous movie. Flag, Boomerang, and Harley were all in the same squad together, and they were the ones who kind of fucked her over in the first movie, or tried to. Maybe she was just trying to get
her own
backlash.
Fault that things went bad.
Yeah, but maybe that was her just trying to get back at them for going rogue and shit.
Yeah,
from the first movie.
No, that's good. That's good.
Headcanon. Boom.
I could end with her. We find out that
some of the story elements in here need headcanon, just so we're clear.
Well, no, it's well within the range of her too, because like I was going to get into with Bloodsport, she only gets him to join because she threatens to kill his 16-year-old daughter.
Yeah,
and her team is like, "You're not seriously going to do that, right?" And she's like, "You have no idea what I would do."
Doesn't she do something similar to Will Smith?
Okay, so this is the exact same origin as Deadshot from the first one. It's because Idris was supposed to replace Will Smith, but then they decided
and Deadshot's daughter wasn't like a criminal. She wasn't up for going into jail. She was just there, and he was always trying to see her. So,
but this is rumor, but it fits. So I'm going to say it anyway. Well, this is fact. Idris was originally hired to be Deadshot, and then the studio execs were like, well, what if we want Will Smith to come back one day?
Right.
So they changed it to Bloodsport. They didn't change anything else because they're like, who cares?
Which doesn't make sense, but yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And they actually incorporate that into the story a bit with when Bloodsport meets Peacemaker, John Cena. He's like, well, I thought you said we were all unique. He just does what I do.
Yeah.
So it's like all these characters are kind of copying each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Like archetypes.
Yeah. It's, yeah. You could really tell it was that they, I guess now that you say that, you can tell that they just swapped out the characters, left the same story arc. But, I don't know. I find it kind of fucked up that it's always the black guy who's the bad dad in these movies. Like, fuck you, DC. Like, that's a fucked up thing, man. Just saying. I mean, you don't see like Harley, like she abandoned her kid or something and for a life of crime.
Well, we don't know what she did with her teenager she adopted.
Yeah. Maybe she sold her off. Maybe the teenager rose up and became the new Harley Quinn for the Joker. Boom. An Asian Harley Quinn for Joker. There you go.
Anyways. When we meet fuck.
Uh-oh. Tivis is lost.
No,
so
we
we're
meet
on
Bloodsport.
the beach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you meet Bloodsport, you meet John Cena, who is Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And then you go off to walk around the prison. I think they go to Ratcatcher
2, which she's like, where's Ratcatcher? Which is hilarious because I love the fact that they call her Ratcatcher 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of minor villains and heroes who have their mantle passed on multiple times. Like Blue Beetle. There's been 3 of those, I believe.
Yeah.
Was her, I know we see, this is later in the movie that we see her dad, but was that Taika Waititi?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Korg.
We meet King Shark, who's pretending to read.
Yeah. Upside down, which is played by, well, I don't know who the person who's visually there, but the voice is Sylvester Stallone. Which I was like, because I saw him in the credits and I was like, at the beginning credits. So I was like looking out for him and I was like, where is he? And it took me like halfway through the movie to realize, oh, it's King Shark. That's Stallone. Which they don't ever call. I don't think they call him King Shark in the movie. They call him
Yahweh or something.
Nanoe or Nue or some shit like that.
Yeah, you're right. It starts with an N. I thought it began with a Y.
Nanoe. Yeah.
He's an ancient shark god who may or may not be smart. It's pretty vague. He does a lot of stupid stuff, but then there's like surprising moments where he picks up another language like instantly, and it's like, how?
Yeah.
Then it's kind of like
they do that shit with Harley. Like she's fucking crazy all the time, but then every movie she'll have like that moment where she's like the psychologist again and like spews out some shit. Like they did it like 3 or 4 times in the Birds of Prey movie. I think they did it like twice in this one. So yeah, especially when she gives the big speech after the Fidel Castro guy. That was, I'm just calling him that. I don't know what his name was.
That scene, it's later on in the movie, but it showed a lot of character growth for the. Her. It
reminded me of a scene from Birds of Prey, like, because that's how she acted more in that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, then we meet
Polka Dot Man, who gets made fun of by Calendar Man, who I'm shocked was in this film, played by Sean Gunn himself.
Yeah. Yeah. That was funny. And then, I think Polka Dot Man's the last one we see, right? He's the last
and then they're
team?
in the mission briefing where Ratcatcher doesn't recognize an overhead projector. King Shark points at his hand, and Polka Dot Man just wants to die.
Well, I mean, that wasn't this. Was that an overhead projector?
Yeah. She points. He's like, "What's that?"
Oh, yeah. We used to use those in math class all the time, people.
And millennials.
You're a millennial, dumbass.
I know I am.
I'm Gen Y. Fuck off with that millennial bullshit.
My sister's Gen Z, so, all hope for the world is gone.
I hope she listens to this.
I bet we pick on her all the time. It's something my family does. We're not just mean to her. We do it to all of each other. So
that's called being family.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we do the debriefing shit and we see King Shark be a little...
You mean briefing. Debriefing.
Oh, yeah, briefing. Yeah. And King Shark does this stupid little hand.
Which was in the trailer again.
Yeah.
But the mission is infiltrate the island and go to this building.
Mm-hmm. Which the island is... What do they call it? It's made up. I don't know if it's made up for like DC. I'm not sure if it's in the DC universe. I can't remember. So I'm just gonna look it up. Suicide Squad.
Maltese.
Corto Maltese.
Yes.
After its government is overthrown by an anti-American regime. Okay. So Corto Maltese, which
it's a small island off the coast of South America.
Yeah. So I'm assuming they did that so they wouldn't piss anybody off specifically.
And the beaches were apparently filmed it took up an entire parking lot of a business.
Really? Well, I guess they probably just green screened half most of it and sand and everything, threw the sand up. Yeah. I can see that. So yeah, then we get them to the island of jumps back. What did you think about them jumping back and forth through time in this movie as a narrative? I
didn't mind it. I actually, in the Marvel movies lately, I mean, it started with Spider-Man where the horrible black screen, and then it carried over into like Infinity War and stuff where they have, the location and stuff, words at the bottom that are hard to read. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that they did that in this film, but it was kind of part of the scenery. The transitions were real nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed those. Which I think he did that in Guardians, didn't he? Or maybe no, he didn't. No,
but it might be in Volume 3, probably.
Testing it out. Tell Marvel, hey, we can do it for this much. It won't cost that much at all. Yeah, I enjoyed the narrative. It reminded me of Birds of Prey because they do that time switching back and forth in Birds of Prey a couple times to explain characters or to move the story along because you're confused, like, why is Harley in the police station now? And oh, okay, now she's explaining why. So yeah, I did not hate it as much as I felt like I was hating that aspect of it. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah,
we're on the island now, Corto Maltese.
I think that's when we cut to Rick Flag being captured and Harley falling or being thrown into a pit.
Harley gets captured by the Corto Maltese people. And
wasn't she put in a pit though until they came to get her?
She was thrown into some crazy pit, I think because they knew how crazy she was. Because it seems like everybody there knows her. So they were like, yeah, we're just going to put you in a fucking pit. She was part of the
team that was outed by a black guard.
Yeah.
I forgot his name already. Black guard. Yeah. Pete Davidson.
Blondie.
Robert is his real name.
So
Dick.
She gets put in there and then he gets picked up by another group of people with guns that we assume is the Corto Maltese people.
Which then Waller contacts Bloodsport and is like, hey, you should go probably rescue Rick Flag.
Not till later, not till a little bit later. That comes after King Shark tries to eat Ratcatcher too.
Yep.
and and we see Polka Dot Man like swell up and spew out polka dots and all that shit, which I mean a lot of this is just character development of these characters because we don't really know them. And
he starts getting like all glowy and shit, and they're like, what is wrong with you? He's like, it's a virus.
Yeah. So
is it contagious?
So they break through with all that shit. Like they're trying to show you these characters, this group of characters, trying to give them a little bit of a development because you're going to be with them for the next 2 hours. Fucking hell, this movie was long. Because it was 2 hours and like 20 minutes or 12 minutes or some shit like that. Yeah. So
132 minutes. So.
Yeah. So that's basically what this is. And you get to see John Cena in his tighty whities, which, by the way, people, if you ever watched wrestling, that is not John Cena's schlong. So don't believe the hype.
Also, keep in mind that he once shit himself in a wrestling match.
That's why he started wearing jorts all the time, huh?
I think it was while he was wearing those, and that's why it was hidden so well. I believe it was a match with CM Punk that had happened. But it is a common
made him
thing.
Shit himself. So. That's because CM Punk's badass.
It actually happens to wrestlers more than you think, and it's terrible and sad. But moving on.
Imagine if Rikishi did it right when he was doing
stink face.
Stink face, literal stink face. Like, you got to be a hell of a person to just sit in the corner and let Rikishi rub his sweaty fucking ass on your face after he's been wrestling for like 20 minutes.
You'd rather join the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah, at least you know that's a little clean.
Yeah.
You don't know what you'll catch, but Vince, I'm starting to get herpes on my lips. I'm not sure what this is from.
Yeah, King Shark tries to eat Ratcatcher.
Yeah. And then
they freak out, Bloodsport starts shooting him. And he's like, dude, what the fuck? And Ratcatcher's like, oh, he wouldn't do that. And her rat, the entire time she's got a rat.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a cool thing to see Bloodsport shooting him and it really not hurting him, affecting him.
He's a literal god.
Because it also sets up for later. It sets up for later, like basically anything can fucking happen to him, which is cool, I think, because if spoilers, they did not kill King Shark in this movie, and if they would have, I would have thrown something at James Gunn.
I think he would have just came back. I don't think he's got a bomb in his head. I think they just asked him to do this, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, King Shark is a mystery.
He doesn't have a neck, though. They wouldn't be able to put
which is important for later into the film.
Right. It's like, but for King Shark, like the bullets can barely penetrate him. A fucking needle's gonna penetrate him to put something in his spine, and they don't have the normal spine like we do. Like Weasel, yeah, I can see that because he's more humanoid, but King Shark, like, he's not that humanoid.
Yeah.
He's a shark with hands and feet. That's about it. I do not like, though,
he's an enigma.
This trend of making King Shark dumb. They did it in the Harley Quinn
in the comics.
In the Harley Quinn TV show too, they made him kind of stupid as well. And I'm like, why are we making King Shark dumb all the time? Like,
and some people are mad that he's not a hammerhead, which they chose not to do because it's harder to animate.
Yeah.
Which that only happened recent. He's been a great white longer, so shut up.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've never even seen him as a hammerhead.
Yeah, it was the New 52 shit.
Oh, I have not read any New 52 probably at all.
For those who don't know, that's the reboot that happened in 2011. DC is constantly rebooting their characters. It doesn't matter.
Jeez, Tivis, tell them what you really think.
Just give it a quick summary. I don't want to spend too much time boring people with the history of DC publication and their weird ass attempt to make things fit and then forgetting to do that and then trying to get in.
Speaking of publication too, which I find interesting with them keeping on trying to do these Suicide Squad movies, Suicide Squad, the comic, is not a massive seller. Like, so
it goes up and down. And the original one isn't even about villains. Did you know that?
The original, like Task Force X?
For the original Suicide Squad was like a bunch of soldiers who all, you know, like if they were to make this movie today, it would be a fascinating look at like PTSD and stuff, but instead they chose the villains.
Yeah. I mean, most of them are Batman's rogue villains, so it's like they're the best villains. Like, why not do movies about Batman's villains?
With I want to go back to Bloodsport here in a second, but I have a problem with James Gunn saying he picked the dumbest villains because I don't see Condiment King or Quilt Man in this.
Yeah, I was thinking Crazy Condiment King was going to be in this. Like, I truly thought we were going to see like ketchup and mustard everywhere.
But we saw Calendar Man, so
yeah. Polka Dot Man.
I'll take it.
I'm sorry, but Polka Dot Man in this, anyways, is badass. Like, fuck off. He's not a dumb villain, and he's not dumb in this at all.
No,
he's pretty badass, man. Like,
not as terrifying as his Marvel counterpart, the Dot.
Now, in the comics, from what I remember of Polka Dot Man, because I don't know how much they've changed him throughout the years, but originally, though, it was just the dots on his suit he could use.
Yeah, now, I think it's pretty much the same.
Is his power in the comics what they did for him in the movie? Where he can just shoot a shitload of them out? Because if not, that's a really cool thing that they should integrate into the comics. Because it would make him badass, and I'd start reading like just a Polka Dot Man comic at that point. Like, fucking hell. And the backstory with his mom that they gave him in this, I was like, hell yeah. That's awesome.
I really like that.
It's like some Norman Bates shit going on there.
There's a DC character called the Polka Dot Bandit. Okay. Sure. Abner Krill. Let's see. Powers. Not listed. You're not helpful. As far as I know, I have not seen I'm sorry, I have not read a newer one, but I believe it's just he takes the polka dots off of his costume and throws them still.
Yeah. That's what I remember from him when they actually used him, because he was just supposed to be a stupid little thing. But with the powers they give him in this, I'm like, fuck, he could kill Superman, dude. Like,
which, going back to Bloodsport, a lot of people are upset over the line in the trailer and the reason he's in jail for putting Superman in the ICU. That actually fucking happens in the comics.
Yes.
Superman has been to the hospital. He might be strong and highly invulnerable, but he is not invincible.
I think what people were comparing it to is because Batman did the fight and Batman was using all that shit, right? Well, in that fight, Batman didn't use kryptonite bullets.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he used
the gas kryptonite, and that was effective.
Right. He used the gas to weaken him so he could beat the shit out of him. What he should have done was use the gas and then shot him in the head with a real gun. But Batman doesn't do that. Well, at least according to a lot of people, Batman wouldn't do that.
Not unless you're a security guard.
But yeah, I did not have an issue with that. So what? He put him in the ICU. I mean, yeah. Did anybody out there watch Hancock?
Stick from a tree and put an enchantment on it, you could beat Superman to death.
Yeah.
He's not as strong as everyone seems to think he is.
No, he has weaknesses, and I think that was one of the better things that they
just a rock.
I think that was one of the better things that they did when they wrote Superman and evolved like him and shit like that, is they gave him weakness. Yes, every comic he has a new fucking power, but they also give him weakness.
They stopped doing that a while ago. Did they? Thank God. It got weird when he was able to mold his face to look like anyone.
That was a power?
In the Golden Age Superman, yeah. Golden Age Superman is a literal god.
Oy. Okay.
Getting back to the film, though.
So, no, we're in Court of Maltese. Everybody's there. They explain their fucking powers, basically.
King Shark tries to eat Ratcatcher.
Yeah.
She doesn't believe that it happened until a rat says so, and she's like, hey, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, but then she becomes friends with him. She's like, I'll be your friend.
Yeah.
I'll be your...
Which I thought was going to come back towards the end of the film, where she's like, you don't eat your friends.
Uh-huh.
Didn't come back. I was sad about that, but, whatever.
It was basically a play on Finding Nemo. Fish are friends, not food.
Oh, shit. I didn't catch that.
There you go.
Then we get the shot of Cena in his whitey tighties, which he then calls Bloodsport a racist.
He does?
Yeah. He goes, dude, whitey tighties.
Oh, yeah. Racist. Yeah. Tighty whiteys.
The backstory we skipped over for Cena or Peacemaker is his dad trained him to be a killer from the moment he was able to, basically.
Yeah. So
he had all of these people ended up having fucked up childhoods.
There's a lot of villains from the Batman verse that are like just trained killers. I'm like, from like young ages too. I'm like, Batman didn't start learning until he was what, 18, 19? How are they not killing him? Shoot him in his fucking jaw. Like,
he was trained by one of the best British spies.
Don't care. He has eye holes. Shoot him in the fucking eye if you're such a trained shooter. Come on, man.
In later issues, he's got those white lenses over his eyes.
Yeah. Then he becomes Deadpool.
Which, speaking of, this movie does take a lot of cues from Deadpool, I felt. Like, I have not seen Deadpool 2, but the first Deadpool, from what other people have said, both those movies are similar vibe.
They are, because at least for Deadpool, the first one we'll go with that. It's like there's a lot of comedy, but then you have several serious fucking moments, and then more comedy. So
my buddy told me like the opening scene to this is pretty similar to Deadpool 2.
In a way, I guess. Yeah.
I should watch that eventually.
I was watching Deadpool 2 on TV. It just popped up on TV one day. And then I was like, oh, they're like cutting everything out. So I'm not going to watch this on TV. You
might as well just play the Christmas version.
Right. Which I actually, we watched that with the kids because the kids wanted to watch a Deadpool movie. So we did that one with them. We took them to the theaters and shit.
I own and still haven't watched.
I haven't found the Blu-ray for that version of it yet anywhere. Probably online, but
I got it a replay.
Okay. Anyways,
listeners don't care.
They're like, fucking DC, stay on DC, damn it. Talking Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad by James Gunn.
A Suicide Squad.
So they get their mission to save Flag. And they find out where he's at. They go through, and this is where you see a bunch of more gore. Like, we get a bunch of gore when they killed the first squad off.
Oh, yeah. A ton.
Then we get even more gore when they're trying to rescue Flag from this village. Where
Peacemaker and Bloodshot are like trying to one-up each other with...
Yeah. They 100% methods. Are just swinging their dicks around to see who's got the bigger one.
What did you think of Peacemaker's weapons? Because in the comics, they're like partly in another dimension, so he can just pull them out of nowhere. But I kind of like the fact that they're pieces of his armor originally in this movie.
Oh, you mean Bloodshot, not Peacemaker?
Yeah, Bloodshot. Sorry,
I was gonna say
so similar.
I was like, Peacemaker didn't do that.
Peacemaker's just got a giant gun.
I enjoyed seeing him, especially later on in the movie when it's just like It's like a Build-A-Figure type gun. It's like,
Yeah.
they have Nerf guns that you can do that shit with, and you just attach and keep attached. Like my kid has Marvel pieces that you put them together. It's like Cap's shield, Hulk's hand, Thor's shit, and all that, and Spider-Man stuff. And it just creates one big gun, and it reminded me of that, honestly.
That reminds me of the Lost in Space movie. The guy who's got the gun on the belt, which I had that toy. It's basically you like assemble it from different pieces. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of people comparing the effect to Iron Man's nanotech in Infinity War.
No. That's completely different. Those are like mechanical pieces. They're not anything near nanotech. Nanotech, it was just like,
well, if you notice when they attaches it gets larger and expands.
Yeah, because they're mechanical pieces that are meant to open, shoot up some more stuff and shit like that. I would say that's more like the first Iron Man suit than anything.
Yeah, all right.
But the nanotech is just whatever fucking Tony Stark thinks about is what he gets, like the sword and the shield and all that stuff. I would not say it's close to nanotech. I would say it's more close to just basic engineering. Because I'm sure one day we'll have shit like that too, or we might even already have it, depending on what conspiracy you want to believe.
Ooh. So yeah, they're in like a dick measuring contest, basically. What was the line that Peacemaker uses here? No one likes to show off. He's like, except when it's fucking awesome or something.
Yeah. No. Peacemaker does something, and then Bloodsport's like, nobody likes to show off, and he's like, except when it's fucking awesome. And he's like, damn,
which
he's right.
He's not wrong. So they get into the room and find
they have
Rick
some
Flag.
Funny spots in here. It's not all
like I said,
stupid.
James Gunn, I think the biggest strength of James Gunn is his dialogue. I honestly feel that way.
Yeah.
So we get into the room where Rick Flag is being held captive, and he's talking to the leader, and it turns out this is a camp of freedom fighters that they just slaughtered.
Yeah, she's like, how did I not know you were coming? My people didn't alert me, and they're like,
we didn't see anyone.
And then fucking King Shark walks in and spits something out, spits like one of the guy's arms out or some shit.
Polka Dot Man just comes out and says, we killed them all.
We killed them all. Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing. Yeah. Polka Dot Man finds it easier to kill people when he imagines they're his mother, and then he sees everyone as his mom.
Yeah.
Which is a hilarious visual gag throughout this entire movie.
Which, is he seeing it all the time? Because later there's a scene that happens where he's like, they killed Morton or whatever, and like, or Milton. And I'm like, but how can he distinguish people if all he sees is his mom, I took that as until they earn his trust or whatever, he mistrusts everyone and sees his mom in them. Okay, I can go with that.
That's how I took it. I mean, the movie didn't do a great job explaining that, but
yeah.
But seeing Shark as his mom was great.
Polka Dot Man would have been a good villain back in like the 60s Batman show.
What's that?
Back in the 60s Batman show?
Polka Dot Man?
Yeah, he would have been a good villain back then. I don't think he ever showed up.
Was around in 62, so he could have been. Yeah. First debuted in 1962.
Well,
Bill Finger
they
creation.
should have put him in the show, because he would have made a good villain, especially with how they made the rest of those villains back then. Flag gets somehow, after killing all of her men, she still like agrees to help them.
Well, she's very torn. She's like, to free this island, I would make a deal with the devil. So I guess I'm going to deal with you assholes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's but she didn't seem distraught that like all of her fucking people, like she seemed like bummed.
She would look like she was in shock.
Yeah. I needed some tears, man. Like, you're not telling me she wasn't sleeping with some of those dudes. Come on.
And Flag's explanation is they're idiots.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, because he's the only one he's the one that isn't a psycho bad person. He's a good person.
And
for all
him and Bloodsport
purposes.
know each other. They served together in the military.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So.
And I think that's when we get to Harley getting taken to the prince and have.
To what is his name? I don't even remember that guy's name.
Luna?
Really?
Silvio Luna?
General Vera? No.
No, he's the guy who takes over after Luna is
gotcha.
Killed by Harley after she sleeps with him.
Yeah, so she fucks this dude and they do this scene which me and Nick were like, is it real? Is it not real? Scene where they're like in with the birds and stuff like that. Oh yeah,
he's got like a bunch of parrots and
we're like cause she fucking daydreams. Like we saw it in Birds of Prey and shit like that. And
we'll see it later in this film.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, is this real? Is this not happening?
I took it as real.
I took it as real once she mentioned the birds. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe it didn't necessarily happen how she pictured it, but she still saw those and all that shit. So, and then
the guy wants to marry her, and he's like, with what is inside this Jotunheim Tower, which is, it's awesome that they called it Jotunheim because, Idris Elba, he's Heimdall in Thor.
Which I was like, oh, it's awesome to hear him say that again.
He's like, we can take over. We can not only make our enemies pay, but their families, their children. And that's when she shoots him because she's like, I draw the line at children.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing line of dialogue, like probably the best in the film for character development, because it's like, I know if I try to leave, you're going to try to stop me and you're going to go on and do your own thing. So it's best for everyone if I just kill you.
Yeah. Which is, picture. I mean, do you think that she would kill the Joker if given the chance now?
Yes, absolutely.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll go with that. I guess so.
And if they want to do another Harley film, do that. But don't have Jared Leto come back and don't make him fucking sex pest Joker again.
Oh, no. Do it, but do it kind of off screen where you just see him laying on the ground. Open the film to that.
I meant the entire film is her hunting him down.
Oh. Then have him come back. Have Jared Leto come back. I don't think she has the resources to hunt down the Joker, though.
That's why it would make a good film.
Yeah, maybe. Then I feel it would be more like what was that movie that Jennifer Garner did? It was like the female Punisher movie that she did.
I have no idea.
Salt, I think, or Pepper, or one of those.
That sounds familiar.
One was Angelina Jolie and one was Garner, so I don't remember which one was which.
Kill Bill?
Or Kill Bill, yeah. Peppermint? Yeah, Peppermint. That's what it is with Jennifer Garner. Just basically like a female version of the Punisher.
Punisher.
Yeah. So going forward then, Harley kills the dude, shoots him with this fucking old ass pistol, and she does the thing that I questioned. I was like, how did she fucking know there was a bullet in there? Because she just grabs a gun. Who keeps
this thing loaded?
Yeah. It's like, wait, what? And then you basically get the whole prison scene almost from Birds of Prey again redone in this movie with her trying to leave this place.
Well, that's later on, because first the general gets informed that he is now leader of the island.
She escapes before that happens.
No, because he's interrogating her. Remember, all the guards come in and take her, and he's like, take her to my cell. We're going to find out how many people came to the island with her.
Oh, yeah. And then they burn the birds. Fucking James Gunn hates birds. Yeah. Hashtag Gunn hates birds.
I wouldn't be shocked if that came out to be true, honestly.
That's crazy. And then he beats the crap out of Harley Quinn, a Harlequin.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's like, how many people came to this island with you? She's like 69. He's, how did you get 69 people on here? And his like torture guy is like goes over to lean over to like, dude, she's fucking with you.
Yeah. I'm sure he said what, it's supposed to be like, oh, 69 means blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that was funny. It was like, how'd you get 69 troops?
He started freaking out. He's like, 69 superpowered people here?
Right. Which, I mean, is Harley Quinn really superpowered? She's just crazy.
Super insane.
Which I guess her being crazy gives her the ability to ignore certain pains and shit like that, too. So
yeah. How did the team find out that she was captured? Was it through the freedom fighters? I don't remember. But they learn that she's captured and they go and plan this elaborate rescue.
I don't remember. Unless they find out that somebody killed the one guy and that word got out that it was Harley.
Oh, maybe it might have been that, yeah.
Maybe that was it. I don't recall 100%. It's been a while. A week since I watched the movie. So,
and what is it a week? I thought it just came out. Holy shit.
Yeah, it came out a week ago.
Wow.
Like last Friday. Or Thursday, technically.
I'm losing track of my days. Anyway, now we get to the scene where Harley is escaping, and we get that cool scene where she strangles the torture guy. I'm gonna sneeze. I feel it coming.
Achoo.
Son of a bitch. All right. So she kills the torture guy and takes his keys, and Margot Robbie came out. I was reading an interview. She actually did this whole thing herself.
Yes, I watched one of the late night shows where James Gunn was even talking about it, and he was pissed because she did it. She did the whole stunt by herself, but her dress pops up in front of her face, so it looks like it's a stunt person, but it's not. And he was like, if I would have noticed, I would have cut the fucking fabric off myself, because it takes away, it makes people think that it's a stunt double, even though it's straight her. I mean, you can see her face slightly, so you could just say, okay. But if you didn't hear that story or anything, yeah, you'd be like, oh, stunt double right there. But yeah, she does a lot of those, man. A lot of those.
She's gonna be in a lot of great things going forward.
Yeah. I wonder what she's gonna do post, Harley Quinn character and shit like that.
Which she also gave an interview where she was shocked and saddened to find out Zack Snyder killed her in the future Injustice timeline.
Yeah.
She's like, I had no idea he killed me off.
Which was it, Joker that killed her?
No, I don't think so. I think...
Was it Batman that killed her?
I was going to say, I think it might have been Batman, but I'm not entirely sure.
Huh.
Whatever. She killed Dick Grayson. Screw them.
Not in that universe. But
it's in the DCU.
It's in Snyder's films. So, because it according to that one, it made it seem then like Joker was still with Harley at the end in that multiverse, or in the Nightmare verse, Injustice verse, whatever.
Yeah, so, but we see Dead Robin's thing in Batman vs Superman.
Doesn't mean she killed him.
I think they state that she's the one who finished him.
When?
In the first Suicide Squad movie where he takes him. I might be wrong. It's been a while.
I don't remember that at all. Man.
I swear it was her, but I'm probably wrong. But it's regardless.
But shit. So
Yeah, we have that elaborate thing where she's going. Oh, one thing we forgot in the beginning of the film with the javelin dude is he hands her his javelin before he dies, but he dies before he could finish his sentence. And she's like, I don't know why I have this now, but I can't let it go. So as she's escaping, she sees it leaning against a random wall for some reason and grabs it. And then we get this montage of her seeing like flowers and shit as she's slaughtering these people. And, you know, it's her fantasy world that she lives in.
It's another, sorry to bring this up, but it's a kind of like another reference within Finding Nemo, because it's like she carries the javelin. She doesn't know why she has it. Kind of like Dory when she's like, P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way. Shit like that. And she's like, I don't know why I know this, but P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way.
Sort of, I guess. It's
I'm
a little different considering she's got memory
I'm gonna keep bringing up
problems.
Finding Nemo. And you don't think Harley Quinn with all the fucking chemicals in her body has memory problems?
Well, we find out later on she forgets about a guy.
Yeah. Anyways. I know too much about Finding Nemo, I think.
I'm just thinking of poor
because
Melvin.
even Finding Nemo is based in Australia. Harley Quinn, or the actress, is from Australia. If you believe Australia is real.
Is she Australian or from New Zealand?
She's Australian.
All right, you got to get that right. They got a feud going on.
Do they? Maybe she's from New Zealand.
Not really, but yes. They joke about it. It's not a real thing.
That's because Australia is not real, remember? Isn't that what people said?
Oh, yeah, it's a fever dream. What's that?
Australia's not real and birds aren't real anymore. They're CIA plants.
People are weird, guys.
Anyways, guys, let's move forward. So what are we on?
Guys and gals.
All you cool cats and kittens. I'm off today.
It's been a month, all right.
So we're good with Harley Quinn has the javelin, yes. She escapes from the
wherever they were holding her. Prison.
The dictator's place.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck it is.
She gets in a cab and she's like, she sees the team going towards the building. She goes like sneaks up on them. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, which another part from the fucking trailer. Like they put a lot of these good like comedic parts into the trailer. I do like Bloodshot's spot. Oh, that's not patronizing at all.
Yeah, he's like, I can go back inside and you can rescue me.
That's funny.
But you can see the bond that's formed between the original team of Flag and Harley.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even when Boomerang died, you saw her kind of sad, and like, who does she get sad for? You know,
I was sad, dude.
I was
Boomerang's
sad.
awesome.
Yeah. And he was the only one that wouldn't put up with their shit in the first movie, dude. Like when everyone else was like getting like extra TVs or whatever in their room, he was the one that was like, no, fuck you. We just saved the world. Like, what the fuck? Like, he had it right. I mean, he got treated like shit at the end, and he was a dick too, but I mean, he had it right. He was like, fuck the man. Or woman, because Waller. So yeah.
This act, she's Waller is the most infuriating character in DC because she's anyone who's read Harry Potter, Umbridge, she's basically Umbridge. She's like trying to do good by the government, but she's a bitch in the process and doesn't care about anyone.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which I mean is a good character for this.
This
event.
actress plays her really well.
Yeah. And then, well, I mean, it's Viola Davis, so
yeah,
she's just a great actress. I don't understand why Michael Rooker has top billing on IMDb though, because he's like in it for like 5 minutes.
Because he's Gunn's friend. Who knows?
I know. He's like, I killed you in Guardians of the Galaxy. You want to come back and die in this one too? It's kind of fucked up now that I think about it. Michael Rooker's dead in both big franchises.
And The Walking Dead.
And he's also in and The Walking Dead. He's also in Fast and Furious now. He's in the Fast 9 movie. That's another film I watched. I really want to rewatch it too. So yeah, he's in that movie now. So he's in that universe. He's in like the biggest franchises. He needs Jurassic Park, I think, and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Those are the next.
Give Gunn a Star Wars movie.
Jurassic Park. I'd rather see him do a Jurassic Park movie. Then we get to see the people die. Oh, anyways. Yeah. So yeah, we do. Harley Quinn finally gets back up with the group, and then they explain what they're doing.
And now they make their way to Jotunheim, right?
Yeah. Which we're skipping random shit too, but I don't care. I didn't really want to necessarily break lot of slow bits. Yeah, there's some slow bits and some more character shit and stuff like that.
We find out Polka Dot Band's backstory sometime in between here, where his mom experimented on him, and that's why he hates her.
Yeah,
and he's also got siblings that may or may not be alive.
Oh, they did catch before they go for Harley, they catch the Thinker at the bar.
Yeah.
So they get
I forgot it. Peter Capaldi,
which
being the doctor.
I did not like this version of the Thinker. It was a piece of shit.
I like Capaldi, so
I did not like this version though, like how the Thinker was portrayed. Mm-hmm. I will say.
Oh, we also meet Melvin, the bus driver.
Yes.
The van driver.
Yes. Yeah, fucking hell. The Thinker really annoyed me because I'm like, this is not the Thinker. Why is he what? Like, what was the whole purpose of him? He just served zero purpose. And like he has the things in his head. Okay, cool. But he says that Starro, because we get the reveal of Starro later. But he says that Starro will listen to him. He's the only one that can talk to him. He's the only one that can control the beast, which is Starro. They don't call him Starro until like way towards the end.
Yeah, the Thinker actually names him.
Yeah. Which Starro in the comics is fucking badass. Like,
yeah, that's another interview with Gunn. He was talking about why he included that character in this, which, for anyone who doesn't know, Starro was the Brave and the Bold number 28 was the first appearance of the Justice League of America, and it was them versus Starro.
Yeah.
So he's a big name in the DC comics. He's based, he goes around mind controlling planets, basically, except they changed him in this film. And I think it was for the better. Because he's kind of a lame ass character.
I still didn't like the Thinker. I mean, I think DC or CW did the Thinker a lot better.
Oh, definitely.
100%. I feel that the Thinker could have literally been replaced with any other mad scientist from DC, and they would have been perfectly fine. Because he doesn't use any of his fucking... He doesn't think. He doesn't do anything.
No, really, they...
Like, shouldn't the Thinker have been planning how he was going to get out of their grasp and shit, you know?
Yeah. Everything about him that makes him the Thinker was all backstory and to explain how they were able to come up with these experiments on Starro. We didn't actually see any of that on screen.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the after effects with the experiments, but that's it.
But even then, it's like what we do see on screen with him. I'm not saying the actor is bad. I'm saying the character is bad. So what we do see on screen with him is just kind of lame. And then they're like, when they first capture him, because it's Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher, they're the ones that take him to the van.
Yeah.
And she's like, he won't shut the fuck up. And she's like, do you want like 300 rats in your ass? And then he turns to her and is like, I don't think you'll like the answer to that. And I'm like,
yeah,
what
there's
fuck?
a couple times where they make him a bit of a
freak,
sex maniac.
He's a freak.
And they also
like
kind of allude to
rats. Come on.
Later on too.
What's that?
When this is later on when they get into the lab of Starro, where all of the people who are controlled by him are talking to him, and it's like, this guy tortures us. He has his way with us, and it's not. I don't think it's meant to be taken that way, but the look on his face as it's being said is sometimes. Yeah.
I think that's definitely what they were getting to, especially with the first line of, I don't think you'll like my answer about the 300 rats in my ass. Like he comes off as a freak.
Yeah. Can they stop doing this to characters, please?
And not only that, it's like, this is a really good character in the comics, bro. Like, and like I said, Flash did it really good on the CW. And I'm just like, what are we doing here with this dude?
Flash does a lot of things better than the fucking movies.
Yeah, it's true. Like casting. Oh man. But
again, it's Capaldi, pretty much the same persona as his doctor from Doctor Who.
Oh, so the doctor likes 300 rats in his ass. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's
not
possible.
Watching that season.
3 seasons.
All right, not watching that show ever.
So I agree. I wish they would have done it better in hindsight, but I just like Capaldi.
Yeah. So let's move forward now. They got the thinker. They do the thing. They basically get into Jotunheim now. With him, they just drive in, and then for some reason it had the rain, so it looked pretty when they all walked in a spread out line,
and then murdered all the troops outside.
Yeah,
that's where you get the scene from the trailers where King Shark rips a guy in half.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. They get in there, they set up their explosives to blow it up because they want to blow it up. And
King Shark makes a little peacemaker with the C4, and that was nice.
Yeah. So this is where the movie kind of got meh for me. So before I continue talking about the film, I've explained it to several other people how I felt because people were asking me, and I know they weren't going to listen to the show. But in short, to explain this movie for people, from my point of view, is it just feels like it's a DC Legends movie, but with supervillains and more gore. That's literally what this film feels like.
Gore.
Is just a very gory villain DC Legends, and that's about where I got from this movie. So yeah. Now moving forward, we can talk, because this is when they start changing shit up. And as I say, DC Legends, even I kind of want Starro to show up on DC Legends now and fight Bebo.
Oh yes.
But they kind of ruined it though for any DCEU film moving forward anyways, to use Starro, because Starro, I mean, in the comics even took out like the fucking Justice League. He controlled them.
Yeah.
Now in the comics, when Starro, like when the things went on your face, it didn't kill you instantly. In this movie, it seems if he goes on you, you die. So
yeah, there's no coming back.
Yeah. So that's a big difference. So do you want to move on bit by bit, or should we just jump to certain points in this?
We can jump to certain points.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to hit on, and then if you know,
Okay, go ahead.
They take out Thinker, kind of, by accidentally releasing. All right, well, what happens is they split up into like 3 teams.
Yeah.
One is with Thinker, one is going like to the top of the tower to get some data drive.
It's Thinker,
and then the other one is setting up explosives.
It's Thinker with Ratcatcher and Flag. And then you have King Shark and Peacemaker, and then Harley, Bloodshot, and Polka Dot Man, and apparently Marvin or Melvin or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Melvin, the van driver.
Yeah,
who they get ambushed by guards and he gets killed, and Polka Dot Man is extremely upset by this because apparently him and Melvin became friends.
I don't think he was extremely upset about the death nearly as much as he was like pissed off when Harley was like, "Who?"
Yeah,
which he's like, if he's been with us the whole time.
If you go back and watch after they meet him with the van, he is in almost every scene, but off to the side.
Yeah.
He's just there, and you don't notice him.
It's crazy. Oh,
he like officially becomes part of the team.
Did you see the Guardians of the Galaxy guest person?
No, everyone keeps talking about that, and I missed it.
Oh, it sucks for you. But you
didn't see him either, did you?
I did.
Oh, you did? What is it?
It's her.
Who is it?
It's the actress that played what's her name?
Oh, Mantis?
Mantis, yeah. She's on stage in the bar.
Really?
Yeah. And another cameo, which I loved. It was very quick, too. It wasn't as long as he got in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, but James Gunn's, a.k.a. Troma's CEO and creator, Lloyd Kaufman, got a little cameo in the bar as well. So it's a quick one for him. I think a lot of the cameos were pretty quick, actually, because he wasn't necessarily trying to focus on the cameos, but he loves to put his people in the shit. I was wondering if they were going to put Batista in this, but I think Batista at the time was filming that Snyder zombie film, most likely. So
yeah. I'm sure with how quickly he stuck up for Gunn during that whole
well,
whatever the fuck that was.
Gunn was also very surprised that Marvel didn't have him come and do Drax's voice for the What Ifs.
Yeah, it was probably punishment for that, honestly.
Probably. But it's like, fuck you. I'm going to be in the 3rd movie, so it doesn't matter. It's like, maybe he wanted, they didn't even contact him for it. So it's not even like he said he wanted more money or something, too. So,
yeah.
Because they paid Chadwick Boseman to fucking be there. Come on. Like, rest in peace.
Well, not only him, some of the other ones. I mean, not the big name ones, because they obviously would have cost too much. But
I don't think RDJ is in there. I think Chris Pratt voices. No?
Nope.
How the hell did they get Chadwick Boseman and not these other guys? Unless Chadwick just wasn't busy at the time, but it's just voiceover.
Maybe he just
work.
didn't ask for too much. He was more willing to negotiate.
Either that, or they felt that he was too big of a character to replace the.
Could be. They could have been setting him up to be, big in the future of the MCU too, until the tragedy of his passing.
Yeah, like, you want to be the next RDJ in this franchise?
Guys, go get your ass checked.
What?
The prostate cancer.
Oh. Anyways, get a finger in your ass.
Yeah.
Save the world.
So let's go through this in the correct order instead of jumping around. King Shark gets left behind and finds a room with an aquarium of fish that he's like, hey, my friend, new friends.
Yeah. Really
then we go
at
to the scene where Melvin gets killed and Harley's like, who the fuck is Melvin?
Yeah. They go through that whole
and
thing.
Polka Dot Man gets pissed, throws his dots at the C4.
Yeah. I thought they were going
blows
to
up the
kill
building.
him. I thought they were going to kill Polka Dot Man. I thought he was just, when he stood up, I was like, oh, he's going to get fucking shot in the head. I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah. But he hits the C4, building explodes. Starro gets loose, grabs the Thinker, liquefies him, and escapes. Well, after the building crosses. Before that, Flag finds data disk of information that this was actually an American military operation, which is actually pretty clever because we do experimental stuff in bases not located on our country because, you know, if anything goes wrong, we don't want it to happen here.
Yeah.
And Peacemaker shows up. He's like, hey, you got to give me that. I got to destroy it. And Flag's like, nah, I'm going to show it to the world because fuck Waller. Because he doesn't have a bomb in his head. He could do whatever he wants. And Peacemaker pulls out his gun. He's like, I have to destroy that. So give it to me or I'm going to kill you. They fight. And I assume this is the scene where you had to pause the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
This one was the one death that pissed me off the most.
Yeah.
They're fighting over the stupid fucking hard drive. And this is where I feel it would have been beneficial for Flag to have had his bracelet from the first movie to just boom and blow his head off. To blow Peacemaker's head off.
But going back to how they were more than likely bait by Waller, she probably didn't give him that on purpose in case this situation happened.
Yes, possibly. So they're fighting, and then Peacemaker ends up killing Flag. And not just like, they don't just show him shove it in, but they make sure you know Flag is dead because they show an interior shot of it going into his fucking heart, which just like, I was like, well, fuck you, movie. Like, I was so pissed because I was like, well, he got stabbed. He could come back. But no, they showed him get literally stabbed straight through the heart with an interior visual of the heart getting ruptured.
Can I say that this, to me, at least, I don't know how you felt, but this is probably the best acting I've ever seen from John Cena. And it's all eyes.
Yes.
Like, you could see the pain. Like, I don't want to do this, but I have to.
Right. Because he's doing it. So the whole reasoning is because Peacemaker's doing it, because Peacemaker does whatever he needs to do for
whatever
his country.
He's ordered to do.
For his country, regardless. He even said before that he'll kill women and kids. He literally said that, which is why I don't understand why Flag used the kids thing as an excuse as to why they should not be okay with this. Because I'm like, well, earlier in the movie, Peacemaker said he'll kill women and kids if he has to for his country.
Was Flag there for that, though, or was that him talking to Bloodshot?
Ooh, good question. That might have just been him and Bloodshot.
Bloodsport.
So, yeah. Or Bloodsport, yeah.
Deadshot and Bloodsport.
Yeah, okay. That's one character. The multiverse character of them.
I think
together.
Bloodshot might be that movie Vin Diesel was in last year.
That's what it is, yes. Bloodshot. A Vin Diesel film, which is actually a pretty fun film. Wasn't anything
and
great.
Based on a comic.
Yep. So yeah, when he stabs him, like, I was just, it tore me apart because I've seen the first Suicide Squad movie way more than I want to admit. and I really like the actor and I really like the character. I think that Joel Kinnaman does a great job as Rick Flag, and you got to see him in his like almost traditional yellow shirt in this one too. I was like, cool, maybe we'll get to see him in more stuff later down the road, not just a Suicide Squad film, you know. And then they do this killing and I was so pissed. But I did get to see, I even though I was mad, I still noticed John Cena's acting was really good because it's all in his eyes. He looks like he's about to cry that he just killed an innocent, but he's doing it to protect his country.
Comrade.
So, yeah. So I'm really curious later on with the end credit scene, like we'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, I did end up after that death, that death pissed me off the most in the movie. I was like, man, and I knew other characters that were left in the crew were going to die. I just didn't want it to be him, because he's literally the only good person there. Like, literally, like, you know, what's her face uses rats to like rob banks. I think that's why she was in prison. King Shark, they didn't explain why he was in prison. Maybe he ate somebody, I'm not sure. And Polka Dot Man, they didn't say why he was there either, unless it was he killed his mom.
Yeah, I think it's just, he's unstable and dangerous.
Yeah,
because remember, they had a power dampener on him and no one else.
Yeah, which also shows that they know metahumans.
He might have turned himself in too, with how he, his outlook on life.
Yeah. And then, like, what was Blood or what's his
Peacemaker.
name? Peacemaker. God knows what he did to go to jail. And the other one, they said they shot Superman. I'm like, really? That's the only thing he's ever done bad? I don't believe that. That shouldn't be the only reason he's in the prison. But yeah, like, they're all bad people except for him. Like, even Harley, like, we all like Harley Quinn, or this version of her anyways, but it's like, she's still a bad person. She's fucking,
Yeah.
God knows how many people she killed just for the Joker alone. But yeah, it annoyed me. I ended up turning it off and we finished it the next day. Not only that, but like, my wife was tired too, so that was more of an incentive to turn it off right after that scene. Well, not like right after, but we got to see a little bit more. I got to see the redemption from that scene before we turned it off too. So after that, Ratcatcher has the hard drive and she bolts out of there, and Peacemaker chases after her, and he's gonna kill her. And he does not look distraught about killing her like he did. No,
he's kind of in like a blood rage at this point.
Yeah. I think it's because things are not going the way he wanted. So he's just gone AWOL, basically.
He chases her down. He's about to finish her off when, due to the explosion by Polka Dot Man, Bloodsport starts falling through the floor until eventually coming to rest in front of Peacemaker, seeing him holding his gun up to Ratcatcher.
Yeah.
And then they do like a old Western quick draw.
Yeah. Which Peacemaker's bullet was a little too big.
Yeah. And, which is a comment that he makes very early in the film about how he would be better than Bloodsport. He's like, I would just get a smaller bullet than yours.
Yeah. Yeah. So that backfired on him. He got shot in the face, right?
Throat. It hit him.
Throat. It was the throat. Okay. And then, but before that too, there was also another thing where King Shark, when the tank breaks, the fishes are swimming around in his new friends.
His new friend fish who begin eating him.
And they're like alien piranhas, I want to say. So
something like that.
They just start eating him. He ends up falling out the building and he's fucking alive still. I'm like, what? Okay.
Again, I thought would come back because friends don't eat you, and here are his friends eating him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, he's definitely eating Ratcatcher. No, doesn't happen.
No. And then he falls down and they start dying off because they're not in water, but then he just starts getting shot up while the whole Peacemaker stuff is going on. And
because the entire time they're in the tower, they bring down, like, for lack of a better word, blast doors from Star Wars. The military is outside trying to ram their jeeps into it to get inside to stop them from whatever they're doing.
And then we got him coming down because the building's coming down. He's just dropping layer by layer by layer. Black Superman is dropping. That's a line from Hobbs and Shaw if anyone wants to know. Don't watch that movie. So yeah.
Or do, and don't tell Myke about it.
Yeah. Oh, The Rock already said he's not coming back, so it doesn't fucking matter. He's not coming back to the franchise, so bonus.
Too much tough love.
He doesn't love the family, man. He's not a family man.
Come on, dude.
So he gets shot. Peacemaker gets shot. He's dead. Whatever. Then the rest of the building just falls down.
Starro escapes.
Starro escapes, and they get out the front door right before and all that shit. And this is where I ended up turning it off because I was like, well, this is a whole nother act, and there was like fucking half an hour left.
The movie basically shifts at this point anyway.
Yeah. So
it goes from like stealth infiltration type story to from here point out, it's comic book movie.
Yeah. So you can go with this.
So Starro escapes, sees the military out there, opens up some flaps on what looks like it's armpit, and a bunch of little Starros go out, attach to their faces, and they're all possessed. The team realizes they can protect themselves because Ratcatcher puts her gas mask on, and it's like, cover your face. And so they're all protected. All you have to do is put your freaking arm up, unless you're King Shark, in which case they can't attach to your face anyway. They're just slapping them around.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it goes into craze and attacks the city. And this is the entire time they're in this city, they're at radio silence from Waller because there's a disruptor that's in Jotunheim. But since Jotunheim's gone, the feed comes back, and her analyst guy is like, holy shit, there's a kaiju.
Which when they found out that there was no radio contact, I could not believe her when she said that
she could still detonate.
I was like, no, you can't.
No, that's
like
a bluff.
Yeah, it's 100% a bluff. Because I'm like, there's no way that radio signal can get through, but you talking can't get through. I mean, when you're trying to detonate something that's in somebody's fucking skull.
Yeah.
Like, bullshit.
So she's like, mission complete. Come on back. And they start going, and then.
Well, the whole time, too, she keeps threatening the dude's kid throughout the movie in his ear and stuff. Like, if you don't do what I'm saying, I'm going to fucking kill your kid, or like other things. And she keeps hinting towards she doesn't give a fuck. She's kind of like Peacemaker. She just doesn't care. It's just about the security of the country, right? So, and then you see the distraughtness on the people's faces within
as
her
they're
building.
watching Starro rip apart the city and kill people and take them over. And she's like, this isn't our problem. Fucking let them wipe out the island. Who cares?
Right.
So they start leaving, and Bloodsport's like, fuck, I can't do this. So he turns around to go stop it. The team joins him, and she's like losing her fucking mind. Like, stop it, or I'm going to blow your head off. Which, can we talk about that box for a second? That I loved the detail on the box that she opens up to flip the thing, because you could see like old, like marks from where they had stickers they had peeled off from dead members and stuff. And like, it's just attention to detail like that I'm like, that's awesome.
I like that she didn't have the key to the box too.
Yeah, she needed her analyst help.
Yeah,
one of the analysts. Right.
A question I have: why wouldn't Harley just use? You would think Harley would have a way of disarming the bomb, like the Joker disarmed it before in the first one. You would think that it would just be an automatic tech thing that she would learn just in case.
She's never been real techie. I mean, she's a psychiatrist, not really a doctor or engineer.
But you think it would just be like, here's a fucking bracelet. Boop. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's never
maybe
really
I'm
fit
overthinking
her
that. Yeah, I'm just
character.
overthinking it. Maybe that's what the next movie could be, them going into the Joker and that all of them killing the fucking Joker because she has her own team now.
Get rid of this version forever. Make it so Snyder's injustice never happens because he's dead.
I enjoyed that scene, damn it. Don't take that from me.
Yeah, the reach around.
He's giving them a reach round.
Damn it. I hate fucking Leto.
So yeah, they all start marching along and she's going to try and blow them all up. She's just going to fucking, and she just yells at them. And Nick had a good point too. When she killed Savant at the beginning of the movie, she's like, where was he going to go? Like, why did she need to kill him? I was like, it's a power move. It's all it is. It's just 100% power move. Because she's like, well, he can't go anywhere. He's in the middle of the ocean.
There's a chance he could survive.
A chance.
And she can't take that chance.
I'm like, yeah, it was weird. But you know, same thing with these guys here. It's like they're literally just going to go and do a little extra. Well, I guess in the first one, when they did that, Flag disarmed all their shit.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So in this one,
that also might be why she didn't give him one again.
Ooh, yeah, maybe. Maybe they put one in him just to be dicks.
I don't think so. Otherwise, she would have threatened him.
Oh, his face would have been on the
California.
box too.
That's spam.
Yeah. So let's just go through. They end up fighting Starro, basically.
Yeah. Well, her analysts end up knocking Waller out, which is a great change because early on you see them like taking bets on whether these people come back alive or not. So it's like they seemed as callous as Waller, and then you find out no, they have a line. She doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Which worried me for them because in the first movie, she killed all of her fucking analysts.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for that moment to happen in this movie. Especially later on, she gives them a dirty look. And I was like, oh, she's going to walk in there and just shoot them all. It's like, she's going to fuck them all up.
Instead, she gives them the worst assignment on Earth, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So then they just fight Starro and fucking like he ends up running out of gun parts. He has no more gun parts. Ratcatcher,
Starro's zombie army.
Yeah, Starro's zombie army is just doing whatever. Ratcatcher sends
King
like
Shark jumping at him. Polka Dot Man visualizes Starro as a giant version of his mom, which is
awesome.
So funny.
I knew something big like that was going to happen. And I told Nick, I was like, watch, he's going to have like a epic moment towards the end of the movie. And it'll be great. Which he did. And I'm kind of glad that he got that. And that's where you get the line, I'm a superhero from the trailer.
Yeah. Then he gets squished.
And then he gets fucking squished, which is sad.
Which apparently wasn't in the original script.
It probably shouldn't have been. He should have lived.
Well,
although
originally,
he's kind of
Polka Dot
OP.
Man lived and Ratcatcher died. James Gunn fell in love with Ratcatcher's character, so he changed it at the last minute.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Polka Dot Man is kind of OP, so it's like if he didn't be a good guy and he wanted to be a bad person, he's just unbeatable unless you get a hold of him at the right moment. So at least this version of Polka Dot Man, he's badass, man. I can't he is badass. He doesn't need a fucking gun. Like, he is a gun.
Yeah. And then we got Harley running up with her spear.
Yeah.
She's like, I know what to do with this thing now, even though that I highly doubt that's what Javelin Man or whatever the fuck his name was had in mind when he's like, here, take this.
It just reminded me of the Stargirl scene. Take this spear or staff and then give it to, and then he's just like, he dies. Yeah. So, well, before that, she calls the like 5 billion fucking rats to come over and attack.
Yeah, she starts swarming the Starro.
Yeah, after Polka Dot Man dies. And then King Shark gets like thrown off into God knows where. And then as they're swarming, they can't really penetrate Starro. And that's where the spear comes in place, because she ends up stabbing him directly in the middle of his eye, in Starro's eye.
Yep.
Which opens up a space for the rats to go into and shit like that.
She slices through that, what is it, the cornea?
Cornea, yeah.
So she's inside the eye.
Yeah.
Floating in the eye juice. And the rats come in and we get this really awesome, lovely scene of the rats chewing away the inside of Starro. And
yeah. How does
Harley they keep the camera on that for a long time?
How does she not drown in there? Because clearly it's a liquid, and the rats don't drown or anything. Like, yeah, but she even has her mouth open part of the time. Yeah, think about that. It's a cool visual. There's lots of really cool visuals. Even when Harley's like walking out and she's like getting all ditzy and shit, and like the flowers are behind her and stuff when she's fighting, it was really cool. It looked cool, but a lot of it, I don't know. But anyway, Starro dies, and basically he just says, out of one of the people that he's possessing before he dies, is that he just wanted to,
he was happier floating among the stars.
Yeah, floating among the stars, that's what it was. So, you know,
which it makes earlier in the film we see that the American astronauts take him from space to start doing experiments on him.
It has a good like moment in there. It's like Starro's, he's bad but not bad. Like, it's like he's just trying to survive basically.
And there's an argument going around that with these superhero films, they keep making this happen, is bad guys can't just be bad. And honestly, I mean, they can be. Look at the Joker, but there's nothing wrong with, giving them proper motivation either.
But I mean,
this thing was tortured for years. It's going to want revenge.
Yeah, it's going to want revenge. There are villains though that aren't just bad. You know, they're doing things out of necessity. That's it. You look at human beings in the real world, like, they can put out a story and make someone look really bad, but then you can keep reading or diving into other things, and it's like, oh, so they're not that bad. They were doing it for this purpose. I mean, they're still a bad person because they committed this atrocity, but it's like, what was their end goal? What was, as I text you the other day, it's like, perception is reality. It's like, what was their perception? How were they perceiving the world with what they're doing? Is it, and did they have a mental illness, shit like that? It's like, especially like Harley Quinn, she literally, in the DCEU, they have built it in that she got basically taken advantage of by the Joker and turned into this thing that she is. So it's not 100% that she's bad as a person. It's just that's what she adapted into. And you see her adapting in and out of that every so often. Yeah.
They did excuse me, something similar in Jungle Cruise that, I won't spoil, but
okay.
It's like, I don't see anything wrong with them giving more human qualities and motivation.
Well, I mean,
other than just being murder hobos like the Joker.
Well, you got to look at it even just in reality, just base it in reality. It's like, there are people that say these people are bad, strictly bad, 100%. Like, take, for instance, another country. And if we're at war with that country, our people think that country's the bad people. But it's like, no, they're literally just doing what we're doing. Literally. And then the troops are just doing what they're told to fucking do. It's like, it doesn't necessarily mean either side is bad. I mean, sometimes one side is worse than the other because they're doing it for fucking oil or something, but we're not going to go there.
There was a lot of this years ago when we first, went to Iraq and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, people I knew were vilifying the entire country. I'm like, a lot of these citizens, they're not in the same mindset as their government or military. It's like we can't blame everyone for the actions of the leadership.
You get the same thing right now. Like certain people try and like say China is all bad. Like we got it with Trump. Trump was like, China's this and China that. I'm like, no, their government. A lot of the Chinese people don't even like their government.
No, they can't say it or they'll be killed.
It's a communist country. It's like their government is controlling them. They're 100%. They can't do anything about it. But yet we have a lot of people that like to blame the entire country. I'm like, no, that's not right. You don't, they did it after 9/11. They started attacking all the mosques and shit too. It's like you and then with Corona and stuff, things went out and people started attacking Chinese people or Japanese people because they don't know the fucking difference. I keep
forgetting it's called Corona.
Oh yeah, COVID.
I'm like, wait, the beer?
I like that beer.
I don't drink beer. Couldn't tell you.
But yeah, like you have villains that have. It depends how you perceive them. I think that's the whole point of the Suicide Squad is like these are bad people, but they're also people. They're still humans. We're not well, besides King Shark and Weasel.
We don't know what King Shark is.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. He's a fucking god. In this movie, he's a god. Like there's no way a real shark is living like that. Unless James Gunn loved like Sharknado and saw that those sharks could fall out of the sky and still live. Then maybe. But I mean, I wonder how much pressure it would take for a shark to drop and die.
They're pretty durable.
They're hard. Like they're, and they don't have bones to break or anything.
Because they're designed to live in a high pressure environment.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, no, that's just an argument I saw going around online that I'm like, I don't know what you're upset about here.
Yeah, was it based because of Starro? Was that what they were doing?
Well,
or
not
like
just
a
him,
Loki
but again, Jungle Cruise and a bunch of other movies, Black Widow. You have like villains being shown, they're not just black and white, good or evil. And
which, I mean, for comics some reason, have been doing that for years, though. Comics have done that for years. Like Doom. Yeah. Fucking Doom. Is he bad? Is he good? Is he, that's one of the big ones right there.
Yeah.
Fucking, I think they even did it with Kang the Conqueror once in the comics. Where they like... Oh,
there's just so many Kang stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much you can look at it with. Like, I recommend people go and watch any season of Star Trek, the original Star Trek stuff. Not necessarily the original series, but the Star Trek stuff that came out before the streaming service. You watch that, and they literally are telling you, these people aren't bad, even though these people perceive them as bad.
Well, didn't it's called Next Generation towards the end, and some of the other ones, they started making the Federation a little shady. So it was like even the good guys aren't completely good.
I don't know if that was in Next Gen, but they do show elements of that.
Big reason why Picard came back.
Well, the Federation also has a thing called Section 8, which is kind of like their CIA, I guess you would say, that doesn't necessarily exist. It's not on the books. It doesn't exist. At least I would say it's on the books for the Federation, but it's not on the books. Like people knew about it, and it's become like this Black Ops type thing where
shadow organization.
Yeah. Where it's just like one of those things like any conspiracy we have nowadays, where it's just like an organization that's picking you up in vans and shit. Like they're just picking you up in a starship.
So like Men in Black type
kind of, except they don't care about aliens because everyone knows aliens exist. It's just like more of like a downsized military organization that's secret ops and does CIA shit and stuff. So I mean, and are they good? Are they bad because of what they're doing and shit? And they dive into that in some of the shows too. Some of the episodes, it's like, well, what I'm doing to me does not feel right. It feels bad. But in the big scale of the picture, is it good for the organization, the Federation, the United Federation of Planets, like as a whole, or the galaxy or whatever, you know?
I want to come back to that. Let's wrap this up real quick so we can get to the post credits.
Which is going to be another element too of the same.
Yeah, that's what
topic.
I wanted to get to it.
Yeah. So, well,
you know, the rats kill Starro.
Yeah, rats kill Starro, and then you get one scene, which I was kind of glad that they did this scene of Harley telling, what was his name?
Bloodsport?
Bloodsport. No, not Bloodsport. Yeah, Bloodsport. Yeah, I'm thinking of
Idris Elba.
Different characters. That Flag was her friend too. And so they acknowledge that he's dead and that Harley knows it, because they do have a scene earlier where they hug each other and, you know, show that they care for each other and shit, which is really cool. Which makes it even worse that they fucking killed him. Fuck you, James Gunn. I love you, but fuck you. Like, oh, anyways.
Yeah, so and Bloodsport keeps the hard drive and blackmails Waller like, hey, you're never going to mess with my daughter again. And his daughter, who was yelling at him like, you're a piece of shit father. And so what do I have, you know, to learn from other than this pile of shit?
Yeah.
And she sees him on TV and she's like, oh my God, he saved people. Which
I question how she sees him on TV, because on TV, it's the video footage. We see somebody recording with their phone. If that is like a dictatorship country, that footage is not getting sent out to where the United States can see any of it. Like, think
I would
about,
have
like,
to assume
North
it's
Korea
after the fact, because I highly doubt they even have strong internet.
Well, the way they cut it together in the movie, it's like it's showing what's happening then, because even Waller's seeing it on the news,
you know,
as it's happening.
Like, how can it be daylight in Wakanda and New York? You just gotta, whatever.
Or not Waller, but the people are in her place, because they knocked her out by then. Yeah, I don't know. It's I just don't feel that they would have been able to get that footage out to the internet to where the United States could see it.
Realistically, no. But
we also don't know, like, the boundaries of Corto Maltese and all that shit as to, are they an extreme dictatorship like, you know, other countries in the real world, or are they, you know, we don't know what they allow and don't allow, because it seemed that their leader before was just a romantic douchebag, and not really a military guy. Yeah, is what they've shown anyways. So, well,
even he wasn't even the person who was really in charge. They talk about there was a changeover in leadership where he came to power. So
yeah. Well, he's just the face of the country, just like our president's just the face of the country. They don't do nothing. I'm sorry. That's how I've always felt about presidents.
Oh yeah, they're the figurehead.
Yeah, they're the ones that get blamed for when shit goes wrong.
Yeah. As much as we put on them, we have 3 branches of equal power for a reason. So it's, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you choose to be the one person on a branch, I guess that's where all the shit falls.
That's why we have a president now. Well, nowadays, anyways. I'm not saying when it first started, but nowadays, it's just a face. You know, like a CEO of a company. That's just a face. There's a lot of more people. I thought that was
the president of a company, so the CEO can not get in trouble, but that guy gets trouble. Or is it the other way around? I don't know how company structures work.
It depends on the company.
That's confusing. Fuck you.
Because I'm the CEO of our production company, but my wife's the CFO. We both have 50% stake in the company, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Okay. Capitalism.
I love capitalism. True
like
capitalism, not the capitalism that a lot of people say that is capitalism. That's not true capitalism. That's corrupt capitalism. But that's a whole nother type of show.
Which we might be getting, might not, who knows. But we get to our first and mid-credit scene, I guess you could call it.
This happens before the credits even hit. It goes.
So it's just epilogue.
Shoots Suicide Squad up on the screen, and then it goes right to that scene, which is on the beach.
So epilogue.
Yeah, kind of.
Weasel's alive, and now the children of this island are fucked.
Oh, I didn't even think about the kids on the island. Yeah.
Yeah.
He still has a bomb in his neck, though.
That's true, but they don't know he's alive.
That's true. Did they disarm the bombs if they don't? I would just turn the bomb off anyways, even if for all the dead people, just in case.
And then we get to the actual post-credit scene, which, are just so common in the DC films that people probably waited for it, which is sort of the pilot for the upcoming Peacemaker show that's coming to HBO Max.
Can I say one thing, though? The greatest thing about being able to watch these movies at home too, like I loved going to the movie theater, but I can skip over to the end credit scene.
Which you shouldn't do. Give credit to the people who make these films.
They got their credit. I've been in those before. I still skip them. Me reading their name is not going to do anything, honestly, guys. I'm not going to see a bunch of names and remember them and be like, oh, cool. That does nothing for me. And I work in the fucking industry and I don't care.
But so we get two of Waller's analysts who aren't even the person who knocked her the fuck out.
Yeah.
So how's that fair? That lady's probably dead. Their punishment is they need to work with Peacemaker, who was recovered from the wreckage and still alive, barely.
I think one of the people that goes there to Peacemaker's deathbed, she actually takes over for Waller in the comics. I don't remember her name, though, to look it up.
She might have. And I think the other guy might be the warden of the prison, but I'm not sure.
The big tall dude?
Yeah.
No, because he was on top of that tech shit. I don't even know his name either.
Yeah, he's warden. He's warden of Belle Reef.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So that's how she gets access to all the prisoners.
So yeah, when they first kill Peacemaker in the movie, and then the building fucking drops on him, I kind of was like, okay, so the Peacemaker show is going to be a prequel to this. Maybe show how he gets arrested later down the road or something, But no, it seems the Peacemaker show is going to be post the Suicide Squad, and
which is more interesting, I think.
Yes, we'll see.
Because now we get to see his struggles with his patriotism and blindless devotion, but also, these same people put him in jail for excuse me, I broke for a second, for some reason.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about earlier with the,
Do you think that the show for Peacemaker is going to incorporate a lot of real world things going on with patriots and shit like that?
Maybe, I don't know. I know Gunn said that the show is definitely going to be more grounded than
so it's most likely going to be hinting towards shit like that. And I want to see him trying to deal with the fact that he killed an innocent soldier.
Yeah.
From the States. I want to see him deal with that fact. Maybe we get Flag in there as a ghost and fucking with him.
Yeah, that would be great.
I would actually love that.
I know he wrote this as kind of a board project last year. Yeah. So I don't know how many events started before he finished writing.
They shot it already. They shot the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, when he wrote it, it was just, he was bored. So he's like, I'm going to write about this character.
Wait, I'm confused how he could, like, I get why he wrote it. He was just bored and shit. But they picked it up super fast and he's shot it already. I'm like, yeah. And this is going to be out for HBO Max, I believe.
I think he's directing all but 2 episodes as well.
Yes, he's directing the first 2 and the last 2.
The last 2.
Yeah. Wait, 2.
Yeah, because it's going to be a short show.
So I think it's 6 episodes, right? 6 or 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're already done shooting, and I'm questioning. I'm like, wait, wasn't he scheduled to do Guardians 3 before? Like right after Suicide Squad? Like, can we get that film made first? Like,
well, we're not getting that film for a couple more years. So he's got time.
I don't know. According to Dave Bautista, he might not be doing these action movies anymore. They need to get him while he's young.
Well, Bautista likes to complain.
Yeah, he does.
I love Bautista, but he loves to complain.
There's always something. There's always something. I think it's just his I don't know.
He's very open-minded. He'll tell you exactly what he's thinking.
He's what, in his 50s though, right? He's older than The Rock, I want to say, right? Or about the same age.
He was born in 69, so 52.
Nice. Yeah, so he's pushing his age, but I mean, the way he is and can work out, if he still wants to continue working out, that's the thing. Otherwise, he's going to be saggy, and I don't know.
Ric Flair.
Yeah. Ric Flair was never that big, though. So it's going to be worse. It's going to be like Hogan.
You want to see a guy who should have retired wrestling long before he did. Watch any Ric Flair match in the mid 2000s. Oh, boy.
What's he pushing? He's pushing 80, right? 70
Flair,
or 80?
probably.
He's getting up there, man. But yeah, let's talk about this Peacemaker. 72, okay. Let's talk about this Peacemaker show real quick. So this is going to be another one, as we were discussing, that's going to dive into the elements of bad guy, good guy type thing. Like, because they say that they need him to save the world, which then questions, so is the Justice League not in this universe anymore? So that was, and I heard a lot of people question, where was the Justice League during Corto Maltese?
I mean, it happened over a very short amount of time on a closed off island.
It did. And that was my response to some people. I was like, well, the Justice League they don't take care of everything.
Yeah.
All the time.
They're not the Justice League International. They're the Justice League of America.
Well, they were just the Justice League.
Shut up.
But I'm like, the only person that probably could have gotten there in time anyways would have been Superman to do anything. But it happens pretty fast. Daytime when he breaks out. It's still daytime when he dies. So it's not like it took like a whole day. Mm-hmm. So for those people that are saying, where's the Justice League the whole time? And all the stupid fucking articles, there's so many articles written about this is where the Justice League was. You don't fucking know where the Justice League was. They could be dead for all we know. I'm just like, guys, can we stop? Stop doing that. They have their own lives. Batman is doing Batman stuff in Gotham.
He's Batmaning.
He's Batmaning it. He's never mind. I'm not gonna go there. He's eating that pussy. Because that's what real heroes do. Gunn should have put something in his fucking movie about that.
I think it was too late.
Oh,
that's too recent.
Probably. But like Batman was probably doing shit in Gotham. Aquaman's running a fucking kingdom right now. You know, he's under the water, under the sea. And he
Superman's
probably could have got there
happy
too.
to be alive again.
Superman's, he's just knocking the few babies out. He's probably eating the puss too.
Wonder Woman does whatever Wonder Woman wants.
And she might be eating the pussy too. Who knows?
She might be back on her island for all we know. Who knows?
Yeah. They never say if she's found it. I don't think she's found her island again. Would you think it's like, you guys sent me an arrow telling me the world's going to end? Could you just kind of send me one with directions, please?
Yeah. Send me a TomTom, you know?
I still think that Steve Trevor died before he could have done anything, but I feel Steve Trevor should have known his coordinates and should have been able to give them to her. Because, I mean, even in Wonder Woman 84, he could have given them to her.
Yeah.
That was not a good movie, by the way. I've watched it a couple times. That's not a great movie. It's okay, like the first 2 times, maybe.
I have fun with it.
It's that's what it's made for. But other than that,
I'm real worried about her next one and Star Wars film.
Is she in the Star Wars film?
No, Patty Jenkins is writing one.
Oh, okay. So yeah, do you got anything else to add to the Peacemaker or villain hero shit?
I'm just really like I'm curious what the dynamic is going to be, because they left that character, like, you could tell he's broken inside, and I really want to know, like, I hope they dive deeper into that.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's kind of just where my thoughts are on it.
Yeah. I'm very curious to watch it. Do we have a release date for that or no? I don't think
January 16th.
Oh, fucking year. So it's in pre-pro right now. Okay. That'll be a fun one in a year. A little less than a year, I guess. It's August now. I forget what month it is.
So, Mike.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did not.
I'm going to twist it on you.
No. For the movie, did I like it? I enjoyed it. Okay. I didn't think it was anything great. Like the hype built it up to be. And like I said earlier, it felt like a DC Legends CW movie, but with villains and gore. It's literally how I felt. I mean, you're bound to get like the DC Legends thing in there when you're just throwing a bunch of random people together. But like literally Starro reminded me of Bebo. And I was just like, what are we doing, guys? And then the whole city just gets like Starroed and everything. I feel that even Legends has done that before with something. Probably. But I mean, it doesn't mean it's a bad film. It just it didn't land where I thought it was going to land for me. So I'm not going to say I don't like it, because I mean, it still has some parts in it for me, and it did get an emotional fuck you response from me because they killed Flag and Boomer. So yeah, I don't know.
Damn boomers.
It was okay. It was okay. I'll leave it at is okay. How about you? Did you like the film?
I share in your thoughts. I think people will enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's not made for me. Excessive amounts of gore, regardless of how well a movie is, really puts me off. And so I almost immediately I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this movie. I was sad. I felt sad after watching it because I was so excited. I'm like, this movie's going to be awesome. I love Guardians. Yeah. And then I get done with it and I'm like, oh, and not to mention 3 times in the film, I'm like, is it almost done?
Yeah.
So honest to God, and this is going to upset a ton of people, but I would rather watch the Dumpster Fire First movie over this. And it's not because I think it's bad, but it's just, I don't care for it.
I think I do like I don't know if I like the first one more or not. It feels like I do, but I've also seen the first one a lot more. So I've given it more time in my life to get used to. I kind of figured that you, with the gore stuff, like you don't do that. I know John hates it when movies do over gore too, for no reason. Especially
I completely forgot that James Gunn loves this stuff with Super.
Yes.
And so I was used to restrained Gunn under Disney with Guardians, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, he loves to do this.
Yeah. I mean, Super, you have fucking Slither, all of his stuff. I mean, like a lot of it gets into Brightburn as well. So be cautious of that. It is a good movie, but it does have some gory shit into it.
Yeah, that's why I had so much trouble with The Boys. I'm still making my way through season 1. I can only do little bits at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some elements like this one was more brightly lit. The Suicide Squad movie was more brightly lit. And so the gore to me felt really cheap at times. But I watch a lot of horror films. So
yeah.
It's a different story with that. This is like, cheap CGI blood. Okay, here's some stuff. Here's this. Here's that. But yeah, I kind of figured like you or John wouldn't necessarily like as much gore that they put into it, because they do put a crazy amounts of gore in it. But it's a James Gunn film. I kind of expected it. I've watched almost every single one of his films, including the Guardians films. But
I should have, but it's been so long since he's done a non-DC or non-Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, guy got to start with trauma films, so I'm not like gonna go at the gore or anything, because again, it also didn't bother me. It was just the movie felt about half an hour too long, and it lacked in something. It just seemed like he wanted to play on the title Suicide Squad and have a bunch of people killed, which suicide, they're technically not killing themselves. So
it's a suicide mission.
The suicide mission, but that's again, is it? By definition, with suicide, they're killing themselves, and they're just doing a mission that happens to kill a lot of them.
Isn't that what a suicide mission is?
I mean, they could be called the Kamikaze Squad. There.
It's got some negative connotations in a couple places, but yeah.
I mean, so what? Yeah, so that's my thoughts on the film. I'd suggest if people are okay with gore, go ahead and watch the film. Like we watched it so before we let our kid watch it, because he's watched the first one, so he liked that, but he also watched the PG-13 version of the first one.
That's what I think. If I were to see this on TV with the TV edit, I might have more fun with it.
I don't know if it'll go onto a TV network with how much gore is in it, and maybe Sci-Fi. The Sci-Fi
they
channel.
Put Deadpool 2 on TV, so
and they cut a lot of stuff out. This they'd be cutting sections out of. And some of the better visually appealing things in this are when, unfortunately, gore is happening for some people. So, like the visual of King Shark tearing the guy in half, it's actually really cool looking.
But that's also in the trailer, so you don't even need to watch.
Yeah, because they don't show like a blood just everywhere or anything like that in the trailer. Yeah, so I would recommend just checking it out, but don't get your hopes up for it. I've heard other people tell me that they've really enjoyed a lot of the different stuff from it and all this and that. So it is enjoyable to a certain crowd.
Close friend of the show, Austin Mosier, he got pretty not happy with me on my review.
You reviewed it?
Yeah, well, I put a post on Facebook about it, and I hid it from you because I didn't want you to see it.
Oh, gotcha. I was gonna say
you can see it now if you want, but it's not public. None of you can see it. Just Myke and John. Anyone else I'm friends with.
He texted me last night because he had watched it at home and then he watched it in theaters too. Said it was better to watch in theaters, which I'm sure it is, especially for the visuals.
Like every movie.
Seeing Starro on a big screen is probably really cool. So I just didn't have time to check this one out in theaters, and I pay for HBO Max already, so it just logically it seemed to do this. There's a bunch of other movies in theaters I really want to watch, like The Green Knight. I really want to watch that. They have what's that other one I just saw drop?
No, don't you dare do that.
Oh, he's yelling at his cat.
Just chewing on my damn mic cord.
PETA, come and get But yeah, there's a bunch of new movies coming out. I mean,
Shang-Chi,
Stillwater with Matt Damon. I want to see that. And The Green Knight.
Eternals.
What? Eternals?
I'm just naming off the upcoming Marvel movies.
Escape Room 2 is coming out. I want to go see that in theaters. Snake Eyes is out. I haven't heard anything about that, good or bad.
I have heard some stuff, but I'm not a G.I. Joe fan, so I don't feel like I can honestly tell people. What If is out today. Well, 2 days ago, once this comes out.
Yeah, okay. Forever Purge is coming out too, or is out. I think it is out. That's one you should watch, Tivis. All the Purge movies, if you love gore so much.
I'm curious, but
the first one is good.
Ghostbusters is coming out.
Yes.
Unless Sony delays it like they may have done with Venom 2.
Yeah, they did. They just put up this fall. They didn't give a fucking date.
Which it was supposed to be out in like 41 days once this drops.
Yeah. Well, real quick. Holy shit, we're running almost 3 hours. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I was kind of worried. I know you got a short amount of time today.
I canceled other stuff today, so.
Oh, okay.
Because I have to pick up kids too. So, real quick, you want to talk Black Widow real quick? Just skim.
I love Black Widow.
Awesome.
Like, we're not going to deep dive into it, but I fucking love that movie.
Okay. I enjoyed it. Didn't have anything wrong with it that I found that a lot of the internet has complained about. Which is usually the same bullshit. So, and then we never talked about Loki.
Oh, Loki.
But we have that ending to Loki.
Whew.
I will tell you this right now. The episode I liked the most was the episode before the last episode, when they're in the void and you get all the Lokis and shit like that.
Yep.
I enjoyed that because it was reference fucking after reference after reference.
My favorite Easter egg in anything, the Thanos copter.
Yeah. And you get Throg. Yeah. That was awesome. For people who don't know who Throg is, he's a frog version of Thor, basically.
And for people who don't know what the Thanos copter is, it's a yellow helicopter with Thanos written on the side that Thanos drives for no inexplicable reason.
Used to drive back in the day. Yeah.
For
to get
one
around.
comic.
And then
it's like the Spider-Mobile. There's no point to it, but they did it anyway. Or Hulk's helicopter. He had a helicopter.
So they hint at something in that episode too. That the old Loki tells him, when Thanos came to kill me, I projected myself and then I dipped out, basically. And he hid on a planet. So basically what that tells me anyways, is our Loki in our universe could potentially still be alive. Just hidden. And now that the multiverse is opened up,
I don't know if that's. I think if we get Loki back, it's going to be Loki from the TV show.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that would be ideal, especially because the multiverse is opened up now.
if old man Loki shows up in a movie just inexplicably, I would love that too because he's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Gator Loki. Let's get Florida Loki.
I would like a Kid Loki film. That'd be cool. See him in
the only Loki who wins.
Right. Shit. I'm forgetting stuff now that I was gonna say on it. But yeah, I like that. And I liked President Loki showing up. Not many people know about that. Well, unless you've read the comics in the past few years or so. President Loki is there, which was really cool. Tom Hiddleston still plays him, which is awesome. So what did you think about the series as a whole? Because you get the last episode with the big reveal of what's going on for real and shit.
For me, it definitely hit the ground running. Like from right off the bat, it skyrocketed above WandaVision as my favorite Disney Plus show so far.
With the damn paperweights.
Yeah.
That pissed half the internet off.
Oh man, dude. That it was a fun ride. I loved like everything I predicted that was going to happen happened by episode 2. So I'm like, all right, we got like 4 episodes to go. Where the fuck are we going?
Yeah.
So that definitely helped. And I'm probably more hyped for this phase of films than I have been since probably phase 2. Just off the back of that amazing Avengers movie.
So that would have been what, Iron Man 3? Okay.
So the MCU is alive and kicking in my brain.
Yeah, a lot of people say the MCU is dead. But every time the MCU drops something new, they say this killed it, or this killed it, or this killed it. I'm like, okay, how many times can it die?
Well, yeah, I equate
Sorry,
that to
John, because I know you're one of those people, but what the fuck? How many times can it die on me?
That's the same amount of people say the same thing about Fortnite, and that game is going like fucking strong as hell.
Oh, you just wait. Once I have the know-how to take down their servers, I'm gonna make sure that fucking game doesn't work anymore.
But I can be Thanos now.
Oh, so what? You could also be Loki too, I heard.
Yeah, I got him.
Oh.
And they just added Bloodsport.
Gay.
I'm just super fucking excited. Like, oh man, I can't wait. I'm actually kind of glad that a lot of this stuff got delayed till after Loki. Because it makes more sense narrative wise, but at the same time, it's like, just get here already.
Yeah.
I can't believe we got to get through Shang-Chi and Eternals before we see any repercussions from any of these shows.
Shang-Chi is a very awesome character in the comics.
He is.
I've read several, and I have a buddy who focused on Shang-Chi, Iron Fist, Doctor Strange. I know that's completely different, but like he focuses on a lot of those ones, and like he is so fucking hyped for this, man. And
I'm just
the fact
sad
that some people,
Doctor Strange got delayed so long.
Yeah. But the fact that some people are out there like saying it's pandering, it's a pandering move by Disney to do Shang-Chi. I'm like, have you never read a Shang-Chi comic? Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Do you not know of the son of Fu Manchu?
That's not gonna be in the movies.
No, they're not doing that.
I don't think they have the rights to do that.
Just like Leviathan is not Godzilla anymore in Marvel. And Machine Man is not connected to Space Odyssey.
Who did they redo his dad in the comics? Because I'm sure
I think they just have never mentioned him again. They just call him your dad or whatever.
Okay.
They're vague.
Very vague. Because I know they had to stop doing that a while ago. And I'm hyped to see what they do like with all these characters, man. Like And the Eternals, like, apparently does take place after Endgame. Unless it takes place throughout time too. It might take place throughout time, but in the trailer, it referenced Captain America and Iron Man being dead.
I'm thinking like the first quarter of the movie, we might see little bits and pieces throughout the first, 3 phases or before.
So in the comics, Thanos' parents, was his parents were Eternals.
Yep.
Are they doing that with this now, or are we still under the assumption he's just from Titan and his parents were on Titan and they died?
It's hard to say because, I mean, Star-Lord is Thanos' nephew in the comics, and they just completely changed that, so it could go either direction.
I would love for it to be in there because then they could reference Thanos and be like, our son was a dick.
And that's the thing too. Thanos is kind of like a mutant or a deviant.
Yeah, he's like basically like a mutation. He's the bad kind of his people. Everyone else is supposed to be pretty because his brother's pretty. It's supposed to be really pretty. What was his brother's name?
Problematic.
What was his brother's name? Fuck me.
Hang on.
I forget. But yeah, like
Eros.
Okay, yeah. Which he becomes he's a good guy, if I remember correctly. Because he helps fight Thanos several times. Yeah.
Also known as Star Fox.
Yes, Star Fox. That's where I remember the name Star Fox. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with Eternals, what they do with Shang-Chi, because they're going to dive deeper into the 10 rings. So that'll be fun. What do you think?
I'm curious. It's interesting because we actually see one of the comic rings in either Iron Man or Iron Man 3. No, not 3. It had to be an Iron Man with the 10 rings that capture him, because the leader of that camp had one of the 10 rings, the comic version. But now in this movie, they're completely different. So
might play into the Loki thing.
It could, or they're just gonna be like, that's just he happened to have a ring that was stylized that way.
Yeah, or maybe it was just like, here, your 10 rings. You're one of the tribes, so here's one ring. We have 10 different. Could be something like that. Yeah, I'm interested to see how they twist that story around. Will we see Ben Kingsley again? Because they break him out of prison. I hope so. I think so.
Yeah. All hail the king.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what they do with it. I'm interested to see everything that they fucking do with the outcome from Loki and female Loki, Lady
Sylvie.
Loki, Sylvie. Yeah, it's Lady Loki. Fuck you,
Enchantress.
Everything. With her decision to kill. What were we calling him? He was just. Because it wasn't
the one that remained.
The one that remained, yeah.
That's the only name they've given him.
Okay. Which is a variant of King the Conqueror for people that don't know that story yet. Which, I mean, if you watch the episode, you fucking should by now. He literally says, "I've been called Conqueror before" and shit.
And we will possibly see him in a lot of movies coming up, potentially.
Ant-Man, for sure. Ant-Man and the Quantum
Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, possibly Spider-Man, depending on what the fuck is going on with that film.
The Doctor Strange film?
What's that?
Is he going to be in the Doctor Strange film?
He might. Multiverse of Madness. We might get a cameo.
Maybe. Or a version of him.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
we might
the
see
Conqueror.
Mortis finally, since this apparently wasn't him.
Who?
Immortus. It's the good version.
Yeah. I know this is gonna piss a lot of people off, but like the one that, one who remains, he who remains, or whatever. As he said, no matter what you fucking do, we're just gonna end up back in this predicament anyways. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. Like, that
show was so meta, and it was just the stuff that was taken from comic obscurity. Like, well,
did you see?
No, I want to say too much because it's a show. I know we already kind of spoiled the ending, but it's a show you definitely should watch. Like, holy shit! If you're a comic fan, it is a treasure trove of forgotten stuff from the 60s, 70s. Stupid things like the Thanos copter.
They even reference Tony Stark's tech in Endgame. The time travel thing, the watch.
Yeah.
His watch, He Who Remains, his watch thing is like Tony Stark's quantum time traveler thing.
If you notice on his shelf of trophies, there's a helmet.
There's an Iron Man helmet. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm spoiling. I don't fucking care. They should have watched it by now.
Oh man, it's so good.
But he also, Kang anyways, also in the comics looked and used Stark's tech and stuff in the future. Mm-hmm. That's how he learned how to do stuff.
One of the young Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah, he one of the younger Kangs went back in time and joined the Avengers. And was it a young Kang or was it like a clone? I forget.
It was a young Kang.
Yeah.
So people who don't like time travel stuff, this is like my wife, this is going to annoy the hell out of you, but Kang has split his timeline so much that he actually takes a younger version of himself to train to be a future conqueror.
Yeah. Who ends up becoming Iron Lad, right?
Yeah, he rebels.
Yeah. Which he fucking looks awesome as Iron Lad, by the way.
Yeah, he does.
And that's because, again, he really admires Tony Stark and shit like that. If we got an Iron Lad and an Iron Heart together, that would be fucking awesome, dude.
I hope, because
I'm down for that.
Little bit of comic spoiler, but the Iron Lad doesn't survive long. He's gone pretty quick.
Don't care.
If that happens in this series, give it to that kid from Iron Man 3. Bring him back.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah. Because we saw him grown up more. And I assume that's why we showed him at the funeral, because it's like, why else would you show him? Because everyone was like, who the fuck is he anyways?
Yeah, I didn't recognize him.
Because he doesn't look anything like he did a few years
No, that's the thing about kids. They change.
Yeah.
That's what happens with Runaways. There's one of the actors, she's supposed to be playing like the younger of all of them. Mm-hmm. In between season 1 and 2, the actress gets taller than all of them combined, but she's still supposed to act like the young kid, and it just messes with your mind, but it's awesome.
Well, the girl also, the main actress, sorry, from Freaky, the Vince Vaughn film, body switching serial killer film. The main actress in that, Catherine Newton, I think is her name. Is that what it says? Yes, Catherine Newton. I believe she got cast as Cassidy to replace the girl from Endgame.
Oh,
for the Ant-Man film. So they're casting her. So I'm guessing she's going to be a long-term character as well. They got to do a young Avengers. Right?
They have to be leading there. They just haven't announced it.
So, of all the characters, and this is going to sound crazy, I want Marvel to do a 2-movie thing. It could be 3 movies, 4 movies. I don't care. I want 2 movies with Hyperion. Now, if people don't know who Hyperion is, he's like fucking Superman, except for he's bad. I want the first movie to be showing him just like Superman. I want a fucking Marvel Superman movie with Hyperion, and the second one to show him transform into being an evil dickhead that he truly is, and comes out and says, oh yeah, I killed my planet and all that shit too. Like, I want that to happen. One, because I want Marvel to show DC up on Superman. And two, I really think it would be a cool way to show, it's like, especially for people who don't know who he is, it's like we get a really cool hero film, and then the next one is him as a villain. And that would be really cool. It would answer people's questions. What happens if Superman turned bad? Well, this is what would happen. So that's one of my dream movies setups that I want Marvel to do, but they won't ever do that. So, you got anything else for me?
Jungle Cruise was all right.
All right, so everybody, I want you guys to all go to facebook.com/operationbabble and add us as a follower, I think is what you do on Facebook.
Like us.
Like us, yes, thank you. And same thing on Twitter @operationbabble. And
also join the Facebook group so we can, come chat with us.
Facebook group is Operation Babble group, I believe is what we call it. Or just type in Operation Babble into Facebook and it should pop up. And if you don't want to do that, there are going to be links in the description below for YouTube and in the description as well on any podcast servicing site that you are listening to us on. As well as checking out our previous series. The last 4 episodes were Movies They Want You to Forget, where we talked about Justice League of America, Fantastic Four, Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. I'm trying to remember in order.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then the 4th one was Generation X. Which is the first ever X-Men universe live action film done. So check those out and let us know what you think about those. And this was a long show, and I apologize, but this was so
check
much
out our merch
fucking
store.
Fun. Yes, check out the merch store.
Buy a shirt that Myke is wearing.
An Operation Babble shirt. We have more shirts on there too. More shirts coming as well. This was really fun, actually. Tivis, thank you for putting up with me rambling on about random stuff this week. I enjoyed it. It's been a long time, so
we got to get back into the swing of things. Then John got to get back from vacation.
Yeah. So next week we won't be as long. I promise. Well, I'm not going to promise. I hope, because I've a busy bee and I shouldn't have even done it this long this week, but it was fun just talking about shit and actually talking.
Yeah.
I love you, John. With that said, Tivis, what did you think of today's show?
I liked it.
Awesome. Also, Tivis.
But I do miss John.
Also, Tivis, what did you think of all the movies we talked about?
I loved it.
Awesome. With that said, guys, again, check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and hopefully eventually I will set up an Instagram, because apparently that's where all you young kids are. And I'll post pictures.
They're on Reels
of stuff. What's that?
It's the Instagram TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
It's what my wife's addicted to, and yeah, I hate it.
With that said, guys, I am going to quote. I'm not sure who said this. I'm not sure. who said this? I believe it is Bloodsport says this in the Suicide Squad movie, directed by James Gunn, said to the Peacemaker, and this can go to a lot of you people out there in this world right now. I think liberty's your excuse to do whatever you want. Have a good day, guys. Pieces.
Later.
You just finished another great episode of Operation Babble. You can catch every episode of Operation Babble on all your audio streaming services, including SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, and more. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Operation Babble, and join the conversation today by searching for the Operation Babble group on Facebook. Links also in the description. Thanks and have a great day.